voted.
God of the universe, look thou with favor upon these here assembled, and bestow thy guidance upon the members of the governing body in their deliberations. This we ask in thy name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everyone, please be seated. You want to read it here? You want to go down there? Okay. In the event of an emergency, use the rear doors, walk away from the building. Remember, never panic, just go out slowly. Any member of the public wishing to speak during the public comment session at the end of the meeting, please sign in on the white sheets provided right in front of me. Turn off all cell phones. They're annoying. Please turn them off. Mr. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Ormond?
Here.
Javik?
Here.
Brown?
Here.
Mohammed?
Present.
Cosby?
Present.
Roman?
Present.
Strano?
Here.
Yemakaitis?
Here.
Medina?
Here.
Hickey?
Here.
Mr. Alvarez?
Here. First, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the May 15th, 2018 regular meeting and the June 7th, 2018 special meeting. Can I have a motion, please?
Council President, I make a motion that we approve the minutes from the regular meeting of May 15th, 2018, and June 7th, special meeting, and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman? Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Abstain.
Hickey?
Abstain.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. We're going to start with a presentation, Moms Against Gun Violence by Councilwoman Cosby. You going down there?
Yes, I'm going to call Patty up to join me for the,
Also, I would like to say there is the young lady here, Patty, what's your last name? Okay, we'll call you Patty. You passing this around? Okay, anybody that's interested, please. It says gun violence awareness, especially with the times now.
so. I wanted to just thank my colleagues on council for indulging us with this resolution tonight. Gun violence is a thing in America, and we wanted to just address it here in Linden. I'm a member of the Moms Demand Action. Hopefully others who are in our community would seek to join as well, and we can partner with our friends in the county and just bring awareness to the gun violence issues that we do have. A lot of people don't know that I had a presentation with you guys, and I learned that over the past 4 years, there were more than 1,200 legally issued gun permits in the city of Linden. So Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense is an organization that wants to not stifle gun owners or do any harm to the Second Amendment right, but make sure that responsible legislation is brought forward from the federal government, the local government. And so we're going to present you guys with this resolution. I'm going to read it, and then Patty's going to give information and invitations to the organization. Okay. Resolution opposing gun violence. Whereas every day 91 Americans are killed by gun violence and the lives of countless others are injured. Just last year, gun violence was responsible for 84,258 non-fatal injuries, 11,208 homicides, 21,175 suicides, and more than 500 accidental deaths. The United States has more guns per capita than any other nation on the face of the planet, with 102 firearms per person, and whereas 5 months into 2018, there have been 16 shootings at U.S. schools that have resulted in injury or death, including Texas, where 10 have died, Parkland, Florida, where 17 died, Kentucky, where 2 died, and 18 were injured. And whereas There was also a catastrophic Las Vegas shooting where 58 people were killed and injuring more than 800. And whereas it has been 5 years since the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting in Connecticut, where 20 children and 6 educators were massacred. And whereas despite these tragedies, Congress has refused to tighten restrictions on gun ownership, including background checks that are advocated by such grassroots organizations as Moms Demand Gun, Action for Gun Sense in America, and Every Town for Gun Safety. And whereas gun violence undermines the sense of security in our schools and in our neighborhoods, whereas sensible gun safety legislation with innovative and meaningful policies will strengthen protections at our schools, students, and neighbors. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the mayor and the council of the city of Linden, we do by step forward and urge Congress of the United States to adopt meaningful gun safety legislations and to reject misguided positions. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be sent to New Jersey members of the House of Representatives and to Senator Cory Booker and Senator Robert Menendez. And it'll be passed hopefully tonight by council. So thank you, Patty, for all your
so
work
much.
that you do. Come,
Thank you.
have a few words.
Oh, okay. I just want to thank the mayor, the entire Linden Council, and Roshana for recognizing gun violence awareness. 2 days ago marked the 3rd anniversary of the Charleston shooting. Charleston, Las Vegas, Aurora, Parkland, Pulse, Sutherland Springs, Umpqua, San Bernardino, Columbine, Fort Hood, Virginia Tech, Santa Fe, Sandy Hook. Even without referencing the anniversary of Charleston, how many of you now hear these names and know that they have forever been coupled with a tragedy, and we will always give pause to remember the victims? Do you know the name Akil Christopher? He was shot in the forehead at the age of 14 and died 2 weeks later on his 15th birthday. His little brother, who was just 5 at the time, has become a fierce advocate for his brother and all victims of gun violence because their voices aren't heard. Do you know the name Jordan Davis? He was shot and killed in Florida because someone thought his music was too loud. His mother has chosen to channel her grief into advocacy and is currently running for a U.S. congressional seat because their voices aren't heard. Hydea Pendleton was shot and killed in Chicago on January 29, 2013, and her friends said no more. They chose to honor her life in a meaningful way to stop the senseless killing. They started Project Orange Tree because they wanted their voices to be heard, and that spawned the Wear Orange movement and Gun Violence Awareness Day. And we hope to continue this message of spreading awareness. Last year, gun deaths and gun injuries surpassed the entire population of Linden, and this does not include suicides using firearms, and this year does not look to be any different. This is not a political issue, this is a public health crisis. We are losing our children and our loved ones. Entire communities are being affected. 99.85% of the population will know a victim of gun violence in their lifetime, and 84.3% will know someone who dies. I will not accept that, and I hope you will not either. Your child is my child, your loved one is my loved one, and your community is my community, and we need to stand arm in arm and say no more. For Hydea, for all victims, we can and we must do better. Our Mercer County moms were creating an art installation in Trenton this weekend during the Art All Night exhibit when gunfire erupted and 17 people were shot and injured. Their interactive exhibit was called Imagine a World Without Gun Violence. What do you see? Right now, we see a strengthening of our resolve to work harder to make that vision a reality. Thank you.
Mr. Burke, at this time, can you please start with the ordinances? Can you read 6234? This will be ordinances in hearing.
6234, bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $291,500 for the acquisition of various items of capital equipment for the police department and authorizing the issuance of $276,925 bonds or notes of the city for financing part of the appropriation.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Any written communications received?
No, sir.
Is there anybody that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
Council President, I move to close the public hearing of ordinance number 6234. Move for approval and request a second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Yes. Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Bode, can you please read 6235?
Bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $90,090 for acquisition of firefighting equipment and personnel protective equipment and authorizing the issuance of $85,586 bonds or notes of the city for financing part of the appropriation.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Any written communications received?
No, sir.
Does anybody want to speak on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
Council President, I move to close the public hearing of ordinance number 6235. Move for approval and request a second.
Second?
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Bode, can you please read 6236?
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7, Traffic, of an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance Adopting and Enacting the Revised General Ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23, 1999, and approved November 24, 1999, and is amended and supplemented. That Chapter 7, Traffic, Section 7-13, Parking Prohibited for Street Cleaning and Maintenance, shall be, and the same is hereby amended as follows.
You're not reading the rest?
Add,
That's okay.
delete Hampton Street, I'm sorry, it should be add.
Okay, add.
Add. Hampton Street, north side, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Fridays from US Route 1 to the terminus. Hampton Street, south side, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Tuesdays from US Route 1 to terminus. Smith Street, north side, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Fridays, US Route 1 to terminus. Smith Street, south, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Tuesdays, US Route 1 to terminus.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Any written communications received?
No, sir.
Does anybody want to be heard on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
Council President, I move to close public hearing of 62-33. Motion for approval and ask for a second. 6236, my apologies.
Second?
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Bode, can you please read 62-37?
6230, an ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 10, Building and Housing, of an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance Adopting and Enacting the Revised General Ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, and approved November 24, 1999, and is amended and supplemented. Section 1, that Chapter 10, Building and Housing, Article 1, State Uniform Construction Code, shall be, and the same is hereby amended and supplemented as follows. 10-2, Fees. 10-2.1, Subcode Fees is hereby amended. 10-2.1.1, as per NJAC 5:23-4.1A.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Any written communications received?
No, sir.
Does anybody wants to be heard on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
Council President, I make a motion that the hearing is closed and ordinance 6237 is adopted. Ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Burdick, ordinance 6238 was defeated on introduction, so can you please read 62-39?
Bond ordinance restating bond ordinance 61-69, providing a bond ordinance amending bond ordinance 59-16, finally adopted by the City Council of the City of Linden on Linden, New Jersey on April 21st, 2015.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Any written communications received?
No, sir.
Does anybody want to be heard on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
Council President, I move to close the public hearing of ordinance number 6239. Move for approval and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Burdick, can you please read 62-40?
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 5, Animal Control, of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Adopting and Enacting the Revised General Ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23, 1999, and approved November 24, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Section 1, that Chapter 5, Animal Control, shall be, and the same is hereby amended as follows. Add Section 5-5, regulating the sale of dogs and cats."
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Any written communications received?
Yes, sir. I received an email from Patty Murgo. I just want to make an endorsement for ordinance 62-40. A member of the Humane Society, the county leader, informed me of this ordinance being voted on and reached out to me asking for support. As a member and executive committee member for FOLAS, we are very supportive of this ordinance. There are over 70 million animals homeless in the United States. With this ordinance in place, it will help cut down on the supply of puppy, kitten, mill animals, and people will go to a rescue for their furry family members and not go to a store and buy an animal. The general public do not understand the conditions they are bred in, nor do they understand the health issues that come with a puppy, kitten, mill animal. Please thank the governing body for supporting this ordinance. It will make a difference.
Mr. Burdick, you mentioned the lady to be the executive of FOLAS. Can you explain what FOLAS is, please?
Friends of the Linden Animal Society Shelter.
Thank you, sir. Any other written communications?
No, sir.
Does anybody wish to be heard on this ordinance?
I do.
Please come forward. Oh, you too? We'll have the public first, and we'll have anybody in the dais. She's up already. Okay. The red light, but can you just hold down 1 minute? Just stay there.
Just 1 second. Stay right
Just
there.
stay there, just stay there. Okay, Ms. Cosby.
Okay, so as a sponsor of this ordinance, I wanted to thank Mr. Cohen, and he's a volunteer from the State Humane Society. He brought the issue to us several months ago, and he was persistent, and I got all the information I read, and I thought it was a good idea that we get in front of this before, as we develop our city, and somebody might potentially want to bring a pet store that possibly could sell animals. So thank you. I really appreciate you bringing this out to the forefront and allowing us to get this in our city. That's all I want to say.
And thank you, Councilwoman Cosby, for taking up this issue. My name is Janice Fisher. I'm from Manasquan, New Jersey, and I coordinate the Puppy Mill Awareness Campaign for an animal advocacy group in New Jersey, Friends of Animals United New Jersey. As an advocate, I've worked with countless pet store customers who've become victims of unscrupulous pet stores. These stores have taken advantage of customers in many ways by selling overpriced, irresponsibly bred puppies, and even more recently, they've been using what we call predatory sales tactics, like the subprime pet lease, which often targets customers with marginal credit. And if the idea of renting a puppy isn't troubling enough, consider that the customer will end up paying double the purchase price by the end of the lease, and if they default on payment, the puppy can be repossessed. So the lease so far, these leases so far have been banned in several states, and finally in New Jersey, a senator has introduced a ban as well. For many years, pet stores refused to tell their customers where their puppies come from. Makes you wonder why. In fact, in 2015, transparency had to be legislated, and this was legislation that was strongly opposed by the pet store industry. So in other words, they didn't want their customers to make an educated purchase. My group and the Humane Society of the United States researched the breeders for every New Jersey pet store through the USDA, and we found that pet stores were buying puppies from breeders that had been cited for Animal Welfare Act violations by the USDA, violations that are prohibited in New Jersey, and violations that would make their customers cringe if they knew the truth. For the record, these New Jersey pet store breeders were found to have dogs with ear, eye, skin infections. They had progressive dental disease, loose teeth, missing teeth. In one case, one of the high-end stores was buying from a breeder whose dogs had missing jaws. They were tick infected. They had housing that was unsanitary and in disrepair. Food and water bowls were contaminated with dirt, grime, feces, and algae. This was across the board. These were not isolated incidences. And in one case, many of our high-end or self-proclaimed high-end pet stores were buying from a breeder who was euthanizing dogs by gunshot to the head. Unfortunately, the state has not been able to adequately regulate this industry. And they certainly cannot do it now because under the current administration, the federal government has removed all breeder inspection reports from the USDA database website. That was done early last year, and despite protests from organizations and even a list of congressmen who would like to see these records back because they were made a matter of public record for well over a decade, nothing's happened yet. So we're back to no transparency, no ability for local authorities, state agencies, or even consumers to research or regulate where these pet store puppies come from, which creates an inherent risk for any town that licenses a pet store that sells puppies and kittens, because lack of transparency usually leads to bad breeding, which usually leads to sick puppies, and that can wreak havoc on a community. There have been many towns that have suffered media frenzy, public protests, and a host of other negative attention because of stores that have violated health codes and consumer fraud and animal cruelty laws. Now, as you said, Councilwoman Cosby, is the most opportune time to adopt this ordinance when you don't have a pet store in town, and I strongly encourage you to do this. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else?
I just have a question for her, though. Quick question. You said is the settlement that is proposing a bill to eliminate the loan program?
Yes.
Can you give me the bill number on that? Can you get a
I
chance?
don't have the bill number, I apologize, but I will definitely send it to you. It's Senator Corrado who's
So
doing that.
it's a Senate bill? And there's
It's
no-
a New Jersey Senate bill, and it was just introduced a couple of months ago. And we've been before 123 towns, all of them have adopted these ordinances, and I haven't seen a local governing body yet or a mayor who hasn't been appalled by these leases.
Oh, yeah, if you can give me the Senate bill number.
I will do that. I will definitely email it to you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, please.
Good evening. My name is Ellen Coyote. I'm from Hamilton, New Jersey, where my town passed a similar ordinance. I'm a New Jersey State certified animal control investigator, and I've been involved in the animal protection industry or whatever field for 41 years. I've been working on this issue for 30 years. And so, to not repeat anything Janice says, I'd just like you to know that selling pet store puppies is an immoral and unethical business. However, sadly, it's legal. The USDA licenses them every year, so they say they're legal. Just to know what a puppy mill with The vague definition is it's any commercial facility that breeds dogs and puts profit over the well-being of dogs. There's no way, in all my experience of all the dogs I've taken care of, all the rescue dogs, all the advocacy work I've done, that one person can take care of 50 dogs by themselves unless you're doing it around the clock. These facilities have 200 to 1,000 dogs. So to know that the breeders only make like $200 a dog, so you know they're cutting all kinds of corners to make some money. Without going into any gory details about how these dogs are treated or the sleazy business practices that the pet stores adhere to, I'd just like to give an analogy. This is kind of like the tobacco industry, which is another unethical and immoral industry. It causes disease and people to die, and yet it's still legal. The public has known from all our advocacy work that there's something wrong with puppy mills. Don't buy a puppy mill dog. So what have they done? They changed their tactics and just tell people we buy from small breeders. We've had a long-time relationship with these people, and all kinds of misnomers and misinformation. Okay, and the big one is they tell them they're USDA licensed and inspected, which means nothing. AKC means nothing. These papers are worthless. Please, dogs deserve much better. They're not cows and pigs. They require more physical care than they're getting and social attention. Just one of the points of the FDA regulations that they follow is a dog can be kept its entire life in a cage only 6 inches bigger than itself. That's legal and common industry practice. As Petland, I don't know if you saw the article, it came out about a year ago, the diseased puppies that they shipped across the country affected at least 13 states, and 100 people were infected with the bacteria outbreak so it's also a public health issue. So please, all it takes for evil to exist is for good people to do nothing. Please pass this ordinance. The animals and consumers are counting on you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else? Okay. May I have a motion, please?
Council President, I make a motion that the hearing is closed and ordinance 6240 is adopted and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Yes. Mohammed?
Yes.
Crosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yamakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Porter, can you please read 6241?
Ordinance providing the amended financial agreement with SRV Linden 1 Urban Renewal LLC.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Any written communications received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Mr. Principado?
John Principato, 1706 Westover Road. My question is, what exactly does SRV Linden 1 do?
Mr. Pauls, can you please come up? Did I say that right, Pauls? Okay.
Polis?
Good evening, sir. Mayor, Council President James Polis from McManaman, Scotland Bauman, Redevelopment Council for the City of Linden. As the council may be aware, about this time last year, the council voted to adopt 2 ordinances, each one approving for each phase of the project on St. George's Avenue, a long-term tax exemption agreement, which would authorize a payment in lieu of taxes or a pilot. As to what SRV does, under the long-term tax exemption law, entities known as urban renewal entities have to be established with the state. It's basically a single entity so that all accounting runs through this one entity and runs through the state, so that at the end of each year, the city can ask for an accounting of this single entity to understand what revenues that entity brought in, so that we can then calculate and affirmatively accept whatever the annual service charge was for that year. So SRV 1, although nondescript and maybe to some inarticulate, is nothing more than an urban renewal entity established and approved by the state of New Jersey for the project on St. George's Avenue to receive and collect and pass their income and revenue through, so that there can be a formal accounting and so that the city can be made aware of it. As for this ordinance itself, Previously, redeveloper anticipated it would be built out in 2 phases. As sometimes development projects do, those plans change. Now, this project is going to be built almost in 1 phase, you can say, or close enough such that the redeveloper has requested that the city council amend the 2 separate financial agreements that would have governed each separate phase of the project into 1 financial agreement that would govern the entire project.
Okay?
Can I then ask what the financial agreement is?
It's on file with the city. I actually unfortunately don't have it in front of me. It addresses, the annual service charge, what the minimum annual service charge has to be. And those terms are not changing. The council has already voted on and approved those. No changes to those substantive terms. It's just simply you guys approved 2 separate agreements, 1 for each phase. Now the redeveloper is just asking it to be 1 agreement that's going to govern the entire project.
Have you, your firm, have they worked on other projects in Linden?
Yes, we're currently redevelopment counsel for Linden, and as you'll probably see if you stay for the rest of the evening, there's many other redevelopment matters pending before the council, so.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Anyone else that wants to be heard? May I have a motion, please?
Yes, Council President, I'd like to make a motion to close the hearing on ordinance number 62-41. Request approval and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
I'm going to abstain.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Porter, can you please read 6242?
An ordinance to amend an ordinance entitled, an ordinance establishing a schedule of titles, salary ranges, and regulations for maintaining the classification and salary standardization plan of all employees of the City of Linden, passed August 25th, 1995, and approved August 16th, 1995. Add Schedule 4-MM-4.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Any written communications received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone wish to be heard on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
Council President, I motion to close public hearing on 62-42. Motion for approval and ask for a second.
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 Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Yes. Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Porter, can you please read 6243?
An ordinance to adopt a redevelopment plan for the Griselli Road redevelopment area pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law, NJSA 48:12A-1 at sequence.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Any communications received?
No, sir.
Does anybody want to be heard on this ordinance? Please, Mr. Principato, come up.
John Principato, 1706 Westover Road. Does this include any, does this include the port project that was spoken about last night?
No.
This
Mr.
does not.
Mr. Pauls?
This is,
No, not at all.
okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Anybody else? Going once? May I have a motion, please?
Yes, Council President, I move that ordinance number 6243 hearing be closed, the ordinance adopted, and I request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Yes. Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Abstain.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Does anybody want to hear music? No, right? Okay. Can the young lady over there please just keep the music down? Thank you. Unless she wants to sing. Okay, let's move to the consent agenda. All items listed with asterisks are considered to be routine by the city council and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or citizen so request, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered in its normal sequence in the agenda, items 1 through 5. Does anybody want to remove any part of the consent agenda? In that case, may I have a motion for approval, please?
Council President, I motion to approve consent agenda items 1 through 5, and I request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yamikaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Okay, at this time, we're going to be moving to committee reports, and we will be starting with Councilwoman Orman.
Thank you, Council President. I'd like to start off my report by congratulating Councilwoman Michelle Yamikaitis and Mayor Armstead in winning the June 2018 primary. I just want to say that I am proud to be part of your team. We stood together through thick and thin, through ups and downs. We went from getting the Democratic endorsement to being kicked off the line and literally taking the powerhouse party and just running and just letting them know that we weren't afraid to work hard. The best part of being part of this team was that we just believed in each other, we stayed on track, and like I said, the consensus was, let's just get this job done. I'd like to also thank Danny Yamikaitis, who did a tremendous job at keeping us organized and helping us so much. Thank you, Danny. You were just absolutely awesome, and I got an opportunity to really know you in such a different way. I'd like to also thank our workers and our volunteers who put in endless hours and were committed to our cause as well. I'd like to thank and mention 3 dynamic young men who really were the anchor of our team, even though they didn't quite know it. Alex Laspinoso, KB Sandoval, and Patrick Gargano. Thank you so much for being part of our team, giving us the power that we needed by being our freeholder candidates. We know it was a long shot, but you guys really did an awesome job and had an extremely strong showing in Linden. I hope this is not the end of your quest to become more politically involved, but thank you. You meant a lot to us, and it was great to get to know you and your families as well. I'd like to also congratulate Amanda Medina on your win in the primary, and just wish you continued success. And I'd like to commend Councilwoman Hickey and Cosby for also being part of the democratic process. Wishing you all the best and looking forward to continuing to work with you. The democratic process works best when there are multiple candidates that are involved, and it gives people an opportunity to make a choice. And like I said, that's the beauty of our process. You have a choice who you like to vote for, and it works. So, like I said, once again, to all who have participated, congratulations, best wishes. Now as a council, we have to work together to continue to move the city of Linden forward. We have differences, but our commonality should be we all love Linden, and we all want to do what's best for our city. I'd also like to talk about the location that was formerly known as Pathmark. It has been sold. There were a lot of questions during the last couple of months, whether it was a scam, whether it was a political ploy. No, it wasn't. We have spent many, many hours with many different entities trying to get someone to purchase that location for the sole purpose of opening up a grocery store. So I would like to take this time to acknowledge Alex Laspinoso, who was part of our Linden Economic and Development crew. He is actually the head guy there. And just really give him a round of applause. For getting the job done. We had a lot of talk over the last couple of years, and this one wanting to come in and this one changing their mind. But Alex was relentless, and what I really appreciate is that because Alex knows that it's in my ward and how many people in my community were really interested, and it was a hot topic, Every time something happened, Alex called me. Even if it was the smallest thing, Alex was like, I have an update for you. And if somebody didn't call Alex back right away, man, Alex wrote their back. So I thank you, Alex. You were just absolutely awesome. No apartment buildings are going there. I just want to kill that rumor. It was just out there that, oh, we're going to have apartments there, Section 8. No, we want a supermarket, and that's what we're getting. It's going to be a super fresh. That's what's targeted so far. And it's going to have a food court. It's going to have a play area. It's going to have additional other amenities there for people who want to just come and shop, you know, just little things. It's going to be really good. And once I get more information on the details, I'll be more than glad to fill you in on my committee reports. Just also want to mention that we know that Sam's Club closed. And it's not the city council's doing, it's not the mayor's doing. There's literature out there with a picture blasted of Sam's Club that, oh, it's closed down. Well, that was a corporate-wide decision, but I have some good news about that location as well. Their plans are to turn that into an e-commerce hub. You know, because the world is turning into an online monster. Nobody likes to go into stores and shop and push carts anymore. We like to push buttons on our keyboard and hit submit. So that's going to become one of their e-commerce hubs, and I anticipate that they're going to try to compete with Amazon and hopefully give them a run for the money. Now, one of the great things, that hub is going to be right here in Linden, so I'm looking forward to ordering from Sam's Club and Walmart and getting my shipment in one day at a low price. So I'm excited about that. Also, oh, we have so much going on. I just also want to mention that Friday, the class of 2018 will be commencing. And I'd like to congratulate the Linden High School students, the class of 2018, and wish them all the best of luck on their future endeavors. Whether they're going into the military service, pursuing college degrees, or whether they're going out into the workforce, I wish them the absolute best. And just a reminder that our summer concert series is getting ready to, well, actually it started last week. We have some great artists, some great talent, and we have some great comedians that are slated. So if you're looking for something to do, Tuesday and Thursday, and I believe Friday nights also, please come on out to our series. It's free for all the residents. Bring your family. It's wonderful, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And once again, school's going to be out on Friday. Please, please drive carefully, stop speeding, slow down, watch out for our precious children that are going to be out there playing and having a great time. That ends my report.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Javik?
Councilwoman, that was excellent. It was just, you covered
Heartwarming.
everything. You covered everything.
Oh, one last thing, I'm so sorry. We did have our community barbecue.
Let me say that.
Oh, Barry, okay, I won't steal your thunder. And we did have our community yard sale. You want to elaborate on that one, too?
Yes.
Okay, I'll let Barry do that. Okay.
Okay, first, Councilman, Council President, I'd like to start off with the budget review and finance statement. Approval is requested for the following finance actions. Number one, the payment of bills totaling $2,614,707.71. Bills have been signed by the mayor, council president, and finance chairman, and a detailed check register and vouchers are on file in the clerk's office. Number two, we are in receipt of the investments made by the city treasurer for the month of May at the rate of 1%. I move for approval and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Abstain.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yamikaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
So in continuing, in tonight's ward report, I would just like to thank everyone for coming out on June 9th to our annual cookout at Dobson Park. As usual, it was a great turnout with lots of food. Anyone that didn't make it, please try to come next year so you won't be disappointed. In addition, DPW is handling more trees in the second ward. If you have a stump or half a tree left, please don't get excited. It will be finished in very due time. The director is guaranteeing me that we're going to get to all those trees. If you need to reach out to me to get any of our ward trees on a trim list, call me at 908-494-4608 or email me at bjavik@linden-newjersey.org. This coming Thursday, the 21st, at 7 o'clock p.m. here in the council chambers. We will be discussing the city master plan and looking for input from everyone in attendance. Please try to attend this meeting. We could use everyone's knowledge in this situation. Let's see, I'd also like to remind everyone our Linden Library has been having some great events that we have been putting on our Channel 36. And an event you won't want to miss is on June 26th at 7 p.m. Matt Cozio will be having an acoustic evening. He's an accomplished musician. Please try to attend. If his name sounds familiar, he's the son of our former Second Ward councilman who retired after 3 terms, Rich Cozio. And that's pretty much the end of my report tonight. Thank you, and all have a great summer.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Brown?
Okay. So a couple of things. First, I want to thank Councilwoman Lisa Ormond. Well, first, congratulations on your election. I want to thank her for all the hard work she's done over the last couple of months. It's allowed me to get some things that I need to get done outside of Linden. And, you know, she's the one that's been responsible for the yard sale. I help out in the yard sales in the 3rd Ward, as well as the barbecue that was done in the 3rd Ward. So I just want to thank her. That's what we try to do, is work together as a team. And sometimes we don't seem like that on council, but Lisa has really stepped up and helped out. I just want to thank her for that. Now, talking about events, the last couple of months I've been talking about a program involving the Liberty Science Center, and so they will be here in Linden on Sunday. Flyers have been made. They've been distributed to multiple schools. We still have a couple of schools that need to get it. Working with the Board of Education, emails have been sent out to parents as well as teachers. And so basically this day is something that me and the mayor talked about as far as bringing events to Linden that are geared towards children, whether they're educational, recreational, things of this nature, where we want to go back to the basics as far as doing things for our children here. And so the Liberty Science Center is doing this across the street from us, an all-day event between 12 to 4, with 8 different activities for our youngsters, as well as 3 presentations throughout the day, starting at the top of the hour at 1, 2, and 3 p.m. We're hoping that with the attendance of this event, the success is that we're also looking to do this next year as something as an annual thing, while partnering up with the Liberty Science Center and Board of Education. Also, for the last couple of months, I've been talking about a program that we initiated, hiring kids here in Linden, high school kids with Six Flags. To report back, we have well over 70 kids who have been involved in the program, and Six Flags has given us a report back that our Linden high school kids are doing such an excellent job that they're going to hold a second round of interviews, I got word today, next Thursday, geared towards, again, our high school students. We'll be reaching out to those individuals 16 years or older, where they will be employed throughout this summer up until school starts. This is not at the expense of taxpayers, as people have suggested. The only partnership that has been done for a government entity has been with the SID district, where my nonprofit has made a donation to them to utilize that to allow the students to purchase their bus tickets. And once they get on the bus, they head down for work, they come back up, they get dropped off, and they go back home. They will be starting to work full-time in the first week of July up until Labor Day. Our goal is to hire at least another 100 students. They have no cap on how many students they want to hire here in Linden. And so I think overall this is a good program. So anyone who goes out to Six Flags, be mindful that you're going to see some of our kids out there. When you do, you're going to be proud of the work that they're doing, because they're working as lifeguards down there. Some of them have got certified as lifeguards. Some of them are ride operators as young as 16 years old. Some of them are working in our entertainment department down there. And already management has expressed interest in promoting some of these young individuals. So this is something that we should be proud of. I want to thank the Board of Education for allowing Six Flags into the school to do the interviews, because this is the only municipality where they've came up to interview our students. They have not done this in anywhere else. And the park president himself has approved this program to the point where Six Flags is paying for half of the cost of the busing. So we were able to reduce the tickets for the students by half. So this is an accomplishment in itself. Other than that, there are some other programs that will be coming out in the works that I don't want to speak about so much now. But I do want to talk about something that is personal. I did put out that I will not be running for re-election. That's my choice. Due to this last campaign with some of the nastiness of people really seeking more power than people, and a lot of the stuff that's going on here, I feel like I want to refocus on some of my priorities as far as going back to school and achieving what I originally wanted to do years ago, which was a PhD, and focusing more on some of the social issues and things of this nature. I found that we do have members here on council who honestly do want to move the city forward. In the last couple of years, we've seen redevelopment throughout the cities that's taken place. I went through the city this year. I mean, today, you go down the street, Wood Avenue, you have redevelopment happening. You go on St. George Avenue, redevelopment is happening. And there's a lot of good things to come. And I ask that people start focusing more on the issues and not the people or the politics. Because one of the reasons I came to this decision is that I have people on this dais and the family members that over the years have personally come and attacked me and my family members. And it hasn't stopped. And I don't know at what point are we going to stop attacking people, our family members, whether through social media or through the use of their family members, and focus on the issues that matter. Our children, our senior citizens, property taxes, and overall the quality of life here in Linden. So I will be here for another year, so I'm not going anywhere. Me and the mayor have been talking about some of the projects that we're going to finish up, and you'll hear more to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Mohammed?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of Linden. First, I'm saddened by the departure of our great councilperson, neighbor in Ward, Council Peter Brown. Council President, the Health Department didn't meet last month, so we don't have a report there. But I would like to say the state of the city is very extraordinarily optimistic. Contrary to popular views, the skies is not falling, downtown Linden is not collapsing, the city is growing enormous. And I first would like to congratulate the First Ward Councilwoman on the stunning victory. And then turn my attention to our sister council president on the Democratic Party nomination, none other than a person who served as a sister to me and taught me the ropes of being a council person, none other than Michelle Yamakaitis. Thirdly, I have to put my attention on the chief executive of this great city, Mayor Derek Armstead. And I have said, been from the old school, I don't call people by their first names. Don't expect to be called by my first name. I am a councilman elected by the 4th Ward, not by the people, but by voters. And in the November election with no opposition, it was 599-0. And in the primary, it was 494 to 294. So I listened to the voters. In this great society, democracy matters. Winners do matter. And I do congratulate those who lost in the election. I think they were fine people. The voters thought otherwise for the position. Takes nothing away from the integrity of these great people. And I will say this to them: I love you. Ain't nothing you can do about it. So therefore, you got a resounding vote of love from me. And you know, it was Father's Day. So I'm all your fathers. I'm old enough to be everybody's father. Some of you probably say grandfather. Perhaps some of you would even use that against me in the next election. But I think I'll be still kicking and running and vigorous and waiting for the election. And no, I'm not ready to yet announce my candidacy. I'm too excited about how great this country is and to see the democracy lives. I will never trash the FBI. I will never trash the police department. I will never trash the Justice Department. And I will never trash this chamber. I will trash your ideas. I will trash your silliness. I will trash your low-life tactics. But I will never attack you or your family personally. Now, I will opine on anything you say, because that's democracy. And since it is the greatest democracy in the history of humanity, I think we should just applaud it. So I thank you That's the report. I guess that's the report of the health department. And I would say the mental health of the city is improving, the physical health of the city is improving, and definitely the spiritual health of the city is improving. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Cosby?
You're a hard act to follow.
I'm not an actor. Thank you, Council.
I didn't receive a report from the Linden Roselle Sewage Authority this month. I did not attend the meeting. I had another obligation, unfortunately. Mr. Verchik is not here to provide the information. Oh, there you are. I'm looking for you over there, George. But with that, I will say that on tonight's agenda, there's going to be an alternate appointment of Councilman Strano, so I will be respectfully relinquishing my liaison position, as we don't need to double dip, and he can provide the information as the alternate member of the Linden Roselle Sewage Authority. So going forward, we should expect that report from him. From the Construction Code Committee, our committee did not meet. However, our request for the Personnel Division to, the Personnel Committee to move forward with our request to have an assistant assigned to the department head was again ignored. So every department in the city has like an assistant. We have an assistant treasurer who's here tonight. We have an assistant in other departments to, be the second person. And unfortunately, for years, we've been trying to get an assistant who has been listed on paper but not officially given a title. So that wasn't done. But in the meantime, from our committee, from Construction Code, I'm going to make a motion for the approval of the installation of a sodium vapor streetlight, which was inspected as a dark area in the second ward by Councilman Javik, and the pole number is 60609 LD. It's located at the intersection of Price Street and West Blanky Street, and I ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
Okay. From the Linden Housing Authority, I don't have an official report, but I can say to you that a request was made by management that the polling location be moved from the 1601 Dill Avenue location, and so the election board has been notified, and we'll know prior to the November election what the new location is going to be for the 5th Ward, Districts 3 and District 4, where the location is going to be. So I'll give you that information as soon as I get it. I'm going to give you a couple of dates. Also, for the regularly scheduled 5th Ward community meeting, it's going to be next Thursday. I think that's the 20, is that the
29th, isn't it?
the 26th? The 26th, thanks, Sean. At 6:30 at the Linden Multipurpose Center. Our focus for this month is personal finance. So if you can make the meeting, please do. I know we're in competition with the Board of Education meeting, there's a concert, and all kind of good stuff. So my plan for next year is to maybe just piggyback off events that come up, because I schedule in December, and then stuff comes up that's more exciting, and people, go to those events. But nevertheless, I've been trying for the past 8 years, and we will continue to schedule events and try and bring the information to the community. So 6:30, the Linden Multipurpose Center, and we're also going to have the patrol supervisor there from the police department, and the patrol officers. A couple will stop in to the meeting to address any quality of life issues that the residents may have. At the request of the 5th Ward neighbors, like we did last year, we separated all of the fee-free yard sales because it was a challenge for people to go from one section of town to another section of town if they wanted to participate in a yard sale. So the residents in the 5th Ward, as well as the 7th Ward, are going to be able to have a fee-free yard sale on June 30th with a rain date of July the 1st. So you can start as early as 9 a.m. and you can go as late as 6 p.m. or, whatever you feel comfortable with. But it's going to be done for the 5th Ward and the 7th Ward. All right. What else do I have? I know I'm forgetting something.
Look at your
I
notes.
promised to do a short report today, so, but I do want to just make a brief statement about us working together here on council. Yes, the election is over. At the end of the day, propaganda prevailed. Mr. Muhammad will tell you that he loves me and there's nothing I can do about it. Okay, but watch his behavior and watch the stuff that he said about me and all of the lies that they said and they printed about me. I'm a woman of integrity. Anybody who knows me and has ever worked with me will tell you that I'm not going to do as I'm told. I'm going to do as I believe is what's right. And so all of this stuff that he's saying, oh, I love you and I would never do this, well, that's not true, because he said to me in my face that he handed out a letter about me because it was his opinion. So in the political arena, nobody has ever seen me take a pot shot at anybody, anybody's family. It's about me. I ran because I thought I could do a good job, and I only lost by 140 votes the last time. So whatever the voters did, they did, and there's a plan for all of us at the end of the day. So I'm going to move on and continue to do my programs. And so 8 years ago when I got on council, actually I started to try and get programs. And nobody was here, nobody was helping. When Councilwoman Ormond got elected, I had a survey going on and I got admonished because who are you to do a survey and how dare you put people's information in whatever. It was about a Linden After 3 program, for God's sake. And you're running around talking about you want to help kids. Where's the program from 2014 that I tried to get? So if you're really committed in the next year to doing anything for the kids of Linden, let's get together. And I don't want a committee, for God's sake. Let's just put people in the room, stakeholders, get it done. Linden does not have any programs for children once they reach the age of 12, period. And so we have lots of recreation opportunities, we have lots of facilities, and I say we get the work done. The survey was done in 2014. We have funding, we have grant opportunities that we've been missing. So just because someone shouts it or says it with conviction doesn't make it true. You want to watch the people's actions and their behaviors, and I believe that in my heart. So I'm here to do a job, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. And I just ask, keep my name out of your mouth and don't say anything that's not true, okay? Because I love you still. Listen,
keep saying that.
God is good.
Councilman?
Okay? And I just want you to know that.
And I express love.
No.
Let the house say love.
Anyway, I can be reached at 908-718-7933. My email address is rcosby@linden-nj.org. If you're interested at all in getting free text alerts, feel free to text Linden zip code 07036 to 84483. You'll get free alerts of things happening in the 5th Ward and throughout the city. And also, I just wanted to say also, I'd like to see the members of council give committee reports and reports about their neighborhood. So we're all on these committees, and some of us are on more than others and have, made it so that some of us can't get on other committees, but you never hear about the committees. Tonight, we have a resolution that we wanted to create an ad hoc committee to zone in specifically on one thing, and all of a sudden, we have a committee for that. But, it's a power struggle. Somebody will say they don't want power, but I can't tell by their behavior. So just watch the words of every elected official here and watch their actions. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Roman?
Thank you, Council President. So, I am on the landfill committee, chairman, with Barry Javik and Councilman Stroud, Councilman Javik. And I do have a report. So tonight, we're going to pass a resolution settling an agreement with, we had some violations up at the landfill. So it's an agreement with NJDAP that's been going on for a while. It was like 32 or 33 grand, and Mr. Verchek and his team went down to Trenton, negotiated down to $7,500, something like that. And it was a big win for us. I want to thank engineering for their work on that. The landfill, and again, I'm new at this, but the landfill's a money pit. I'm sure it made us a lot of money back in the day, but or whatnot, but we are, we have to dump a lot of money into it to stay up with state standards. Our engineering firm is coming to us with a report to reassess the what's best, what we should do with the solar fields. Should we own them? Should we lease the land and make a little bit of money? But we need to find a way to get some revenue in here to offset the amount of money that we're spending to upkeep the state standards of this thing. So, the best offer we offered so far is 125 grand a year. It wasn't good enough. The mayor didn't think it was good enough. I didn't think it was good enough. No one else in the committee did. So we're looking for a better option. I can't discuss the particulars of the Fiabilia offer as we discussed last meeting, but we're back on the drawing board for that. We're trying to maximize the amount of revenue that we're going to get for that piece of land. Wood Avenue paving is going to continue after 7 p.m. for the next few nights at least. Please know that you can't cross over Wood Avenue. After 7 p.m., you're not going to be able to. So avoid it. Meridia Lifestyles 2 is continuing their progress. They're digging 3 levels underground. We're having a lot of problems with people walking in the street up against the rail towards, we basically, there's no sidewalk there, and people are walking the area, and again, I live right there. Please walk across the street and stay on the sidewalks. Soon we're gonna have nice new crosswalks for you to walk on, so please use them. I went to the Union County Committee Community Unity Pride Day this past Saturday. This is this county's 2nd year doing it, their Pride Day, and I really enjoy working it every year. And for next June, please come out. It's an amazing event. I'm planning a 6-word garage sale for September 8th and September 9th. I'm going to send out a flyer over the summer to 6 warders and give them the information they need to sign up. The week after, like 3 days after actually, is trash day, so you guys should be able to throw out any excess trash or unsold items that you want to throw out if you choose to do so. Public properties. Train station, been working with public properties to remove a lot of graffiti at the train station as well as at Lawson Park. Lawson Park got cleaned up, and the train station's mostly been cleaned up, and as of tomorrow, the rest of it will be gone. Apparently some kid came, tagged up the platform, tagged up almost everything there, as well as the chalkboard I put up to solicit ideas for the old Linden auto body. As for the chalkboard, I've been out there almost every 2 or 3 days trying to clean it, but honestly, I just can't keep up with it. So I think it's about time. I mean, I've got about 20, 30 different pictures of what could go on there. I've probably erased it over 20 times. So I'm going to end up taking it down soon. I'm going to submit the pictures as well as a list to the developer. Obviously, it's up to whoever develops it to put what they want there or what they see fit. Obviously, we have a say in it, but I'm going to send that on to them. We passed a ordinance just before for Hampton and Smith. Again, I discussed this last month. The parking times are 1 to 3 instead of 11 to 3 now. We've had a whole lot of retirements tonight. I want to point out one in particular. I know I've only been here 6 months, but I want to extend a congratulations to a former neighbor of mine, Al McDonald, who's our public properties director, and he'll be retiring at the end of this month. I've known Al since I was a toddler playing the streets with his kids. He's served the city for 38 years, and I want to wish him a relaxing retirement. I want to, again, publicly congratulate the mayor on winning the primary, as well as Councilwoman Yamakaitis, who is now Council President-elect. I also want to congratulate Councilwoman Hickey, Councilwoman Cosby, and as well as Council President Alvarez as their hard fall campaigns. Want to congratulate Councilman Medina as well as Councilwoman Ormond for winning their primaries as well. Standing up for what you believe in and running for elected office is personally one of the hardest tasks I've ever undertaken. It consists of unbelievably long hours, hard work, an untold amount of stress, public ridicule, and sleep deprivation. And every single one of you should be proud of what you were able to accomplish here. It's time that this city heals. It's time the city officials spend their energy working together as opposed to tearing each other apart. And the step to doing this is showing each other respect. The second step into it is communicating with each other. And this is something I sat at that podium begging for years upon years. We need to communicate with each other face to face and on the phone, as opposed to Facebook or memos or newspaper articles or lawyers. None of us are perfect. You know, someone may come to you and say, oh, you're perfect. No, you're not. Only God is actually perfect. And I'm sure there's going to be hiccups in the road, as there always is, but we need to actually physically dedicate our energy towards healing and towards showing each other respect. And again, I sat down there asking for it, and now as your colleague, I ask for it again. So I also want to thank Councilman Brown for his years of service to the city of Linden. He's not here, is he here? I read recently he was planning on resigning his seat. He just reiterated that he's staying on until next year. Peter and I haven't always gotten along, and we have butt heads a lot, but I hope he finds peace and tranquility and fulfillment in whatever he plans to do next. I have at least a half a dozen trees on the cut down list. If you guys need trees cut down or you think one's dead, call me. I'll be right over, and then I will start pestering DPW to get it taken out and get it on the list. And Wells Sidewalks, call me, email me. My phone number is 908-494-5784. Whatever it is, big, small, call me. It's my job. It's why you guys hired me to be right out there and help you guys out. So thank you, Council President. Concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Strano?
Thank you, Council President. I have a report in my possession that has to be read for the personnel, and we'll ask for a second at the end of it, and we'll vote on it. Number one, in the police department, we have A, permission to hire 11 police recruits from the attached list pending successful completion of pre-employment requirements effective July 2nd of 2018. Item B, the retroactive appointment of Louis Safner, effective March 27, 2018, as a group leader in Central Dispatch with the authorized stipend of $2,500, which will be prorated. C, permission to increase the number of public safety telecommunicator trainee hirees from 4 to 6 off the current list of eligibles. D is accepting the resignation of Michael Clemendor, public safety telecommunicator, effective May 17, 2018. Number 2, in the Department of Community Services, A, title changes effective June 20th of 2018. John Venditto to Provisional Assistant Superintendent of Public Works at the annual salary of $133,014. Pedro Calzado to Provisional Heavy Equipment Operator at $24 per hour. Joseph Venizio to Provisional Motor Boom Operator at $29.50 per hour. Craig Lambert to Provisional Automated Sanitation Driver, $23.50 per hour. Robert Smith to Provisional Motor Boom Operator at $36 per hour. Robert Firestone, voluntary demotion to laborer at $26 per hour. Cornelius Daves, voluntary demotion to laborer at $16 per hour. Keith Johnson to Provisional Maintenance Repair at $23.50 per hour. Robert Echeverria to Provisional Maintenance Repair at $21.25 per hour. Joseph R. Caplet to Provisional Tree Trimmer at $19.25 per hour. Eric Mikely, Mikil to Provisional Tree Trimmer at $20.75 per hour. Alex Lugardo to Provisional Sewer Maintenance Repairer at $20.75 per hour. Vincent Williams to Provisional Road Repairer at $26 per hour. William Sutton to Provisional Road Repairer at $20.50 per hour. Ernest Green to Provisional Tree Trimmer at $25.50 per hour. And Aviar Rivera to Provisional Sewer Maintenance Repair at $27 per hour. B is permission to hire Alfonso Smith, Andy Bryson, and Otis Hill as laborer 1, Tier 2, effective July 2nd, 2018. The hourly rate is $15 per hour, subject to the successful completion of pre-employment requirements. C is the resignation in good standing of Kevin Myers, laborer 1, effective July 9th, 2018. D is the approval of the seasonal list. The list is on file in the city's clerk's office. E is permission to post for a part-time clerk 1 due to an existing vacancy. Item 3 in the engineering department. Approval of summer help list. The list is on file in the clerk's office. B is the approval of the Clean Communities list. The list is on file in the clerk's office. C is the approval of Denise Franco and Joseph Krobeck Jr. as summer engineering interns at the hourly rate of $15 per hour from June 15, 2018 to August 30th of 2018. 4 in the public property recreational services. A is the appointment of Frank Dan as the acting head of the Department of Public Property and Recreational Services at no additional compensation effective July 1st of 2018. B, the hiring of Richard Vesky and James Kondersky as Laborer 1, Tier 2, effective July 2nd, 2018, at the hourly rate of $15 per hour, subject to the successful completion of pre-employment requirements. C is the hiring of Joseph Vinek as provisional electrician at the hourly rate of $30 per hour, effective July 2nd, 2018, pending the successful completion of pre-employment requirements. D is a salary adjustment for James Venditto, supervising mechanic, to $91,120 effective June 20th of 2018. E is the approval of seasonal list in DPW. The list is on file in the city clerk's office. 5, in the municipal court. A is permission to repost 3 part-time clerk ones from the POAA account. B is permission to begin posting process for deputy court clerk due to a previous retirement. Item number 8, A, in the Board of Health, permission to hire Justin Panzarella as a registered environmental health specialist effective July 2nd, 2018, at the annual salary of $60,000 with a residency waiver since announcement was open statewide, pending the successful completion of the pre-employment requirements. Number 9, in the Law Department, item A, accepting the resignation in good standing of Dana Tristeo, the legal secretary, effective July 6th of 2018. In the personnel, we have AFMLA and New Jersey FLA, employee ID 000942, May 16, 2018 through June 1st, 2018. Employee ID number 909498, June 1st, 2018 through June 29th of 2018. Employee ID number 090893, June 6, 2018 through September 10th of 2018. Employee ID number 909524, May 29, 2018 through June 19, 2018. Employee ID number 909223, which is May 24, 2018 through July 1st, 2018. And finally, employee ID 000238, May 23rd, 2018 through June 30th, 2018. I move for approval.
Hold on, Councilman,
Oh.
hold on a minute, please. Can you please ask for questions or comments?
Yes, I will. Any questions? Sorry.
Comments?
We have one right here. Ms. Cosby?
Yes. So, I just have a couple of comments. She's gonna come up.
Okay.
So I have just a couple of comments to make about the report and some of the things on here, specifically number 2E, which is permission to post for a part-time clerk due to existing vacancy. In 2011, at my request, we had a policy that says that all things are going to be published, and that was awesome. In 2017, these people on the committee now reversed that, and they said that they're going to keep applications on file for 6 months. So I know personally 4 people who apply for clerk jobs, and I would charge the committee to go and pull out that stack of applications for the qualified clerk ones, and you put these people and you hire them. And you know, we're playing games because we're not really being an equal opportunity employer, if you will. Just to be clear, if you said to me that you're going to hold applications for 6 months, and now you have vacancies, why aren't you filling these vacancies with the people? That's my concern. The second one is 4A. Later on in this report, you see that anticipated vacancies, and then you're going to fill them and you're going to post them. And we first thank you, Al McDonald, for all the years of service that you had, 38 years of service. Al and I have butt heads on a lot of issues, but he and I agree on one thing, that I have always been fair when it comes to the matters of personnel in any department. So for me to see that we're appointing someone who just walked in the door off the street, and with no offense to you, Mr. Dan, at all, please, with no recreation experience, when we do have people in recreation right now doing the job. When the director was on vacation for those 4 weeks, who did the job? The other people in the department. So now we're going to make somebody enacting something with no experience when you have capable people in the department. To me, this is, I'm not even going to classify it, but it's wrong, it's improper. Just the same way that we tried to hire people when we had qualified members of the department who were qualified to be drivers, and I had to sit here and poke my chest out then and say, we're supposed to put these people on provisionally. That's what we're supposed to be doing, and that's just my opinion, and I can say whatever I want to say, Mr. Roth. And permission to repost the 3 clerks, again, same point. Either we're going to go with the amended policy, which I disagree with, or we're going to post these things publicly. So there's 4 clerk positions here, and I know there's another one for a full-time clerk for a vacancy that recently became from last month's transfer of an employee. That's not even on here. And so we're doing a disservice to the public because now there's nobody to do the work. So people have to double up on their work, but I just don't get it. I don't get it. I feel like this committee and the committee from last year are they're reversing a lot of the fair and transparent things that we were doing before this committee, barred me and others from sitting on the committee. So when you talk about transparency, I think in our operations of the city, especially when it comes to the employees, there needs to be true transparency, period. And those are my comments. I'm going to abstain on all of this because I don't want to offend anyone by cherry picking what I disagree with. So those are my comments.
Councilman Brown?
Yeah, just 2 comments, and as you see, we're trying to keep a nice, calm meeting, and 2 things that come to mind. I just want Alan Roth to clarify, because we should not be putting statements out there that we're not an equal opportunity employer, and that was stated. Alan, do we have any violations or any issues when we go to our hiring practices that you are aware of?
We comply with all the EOC rules, all the harassment policies. We go through a series of checks and balances that were put in by the council, put in by the personnel committee. It's a little heart-wrenching that the councilwoman does not believe that we're doing the proper thing, which we are. I have no problem sitting with the councilwoman. I'm sure she would not either, to go over our process and make sure she understands it. We follow the rules. We've never been cited by the civil service, never been cited by the EOC for any issues. We've had complaints, but no one's ever cited us.
I don't think that was my issue.
Please, thank you.
No, he's trying to make it seem as if I made it. No.
Let them speak, you can speak
No,
afterwards.
because they're making it seem like I said something I didn't say. In my opinion, let me just restate it. In my opinion, we're not being fair and equal to the members of the public. I'm not saying, Councilman Brown, that we violated the EEOC by any means. What I'm saying is they changed the policy that we put in place, and they're not doing what they said they were going to do, which is go to the qualified candidates and hire them when the vacancy became available.
Okay.
That's what I was saying.
All right,
Can I
you made
finish
your
my
statement.
question?
Councilman Brown, can
Thank
you
you.
please finish?
2. Also, to prevent this back and forth from going back and forth, we have meetings on Monday for Tuesdays. And a lot of these issues that the councilwoman is expressing, which again is her opinion and everything else like this, I ask, rather than every month that we do this, on Monday when we talk about these, that you talk about it back there, because what's becoming a habit, unfortunately, what we've seen the last couple of months is that individuals are listed on the personnel for transparency to the public. And what happens after a while when misinformation is going out there, it's affecting the lives of these individuals that are coming back. And so this is why we have meetings on Monday in executive session to discuss personnel issues, and it should not be done here on the dais. I ask Council President that in the future, again, that we discuss this behind closed doors, because it's evolving, that now people's personal stuff and slated and misinformation is being put on Facebook, and it's having repercussions on the morale of our employees and misinformation out to the residents. So this is something, again, I'm asking you, that we discuss
Do you
by
want
next
me
council
to
meeting.
control Facebook from you guys?
No,
Are you kidding me?
Council President, if I can clarify what I'm saying, is that when we have issues like this regarding personnel, they should be discussed in executive session like we do every Monday, and not on Tuesday and catch us all by surprise. That's all I'm saying, Council President. Thank you.
I disagree. The public has a right to know, and I have an opinion, and so he wants us to do everything
Point of order,
behind
please,
closed
Mr.
doors.
Council President.
This is public information. It's a public report. I haven't disparaged anyone.
All
I
right.
haven't said anything negative.
Roshana?
I'm just saying no, because you know why? Because they keep making it a victim issue.
No, yes. but it's going to go back and forth for no reason at all. Let's end it right here. Okay, Mr. Principado? Short and sweet, do not ask any questions, make a comment, and,
On 4A, I had the pleasure of being at the caucus meeting yesterday, and Al McDonald stated how many parks we have in the city. We have a lot of parks. And what I'm wondering is, and Frank Dan also said that his department was inundated, okay, because of the trash and so forth. I'm wondering how this gentleman is going to oversee two of probably the most major departments in the city. How is he going to oversee both of them? Because excuse me? After listening to both of those gentlemen last night, it sounded to me like, quite frankly, no pun intended, Frank was a little overwhelmed with what was going on, and it's not a knock on him at all.
no, not at all.
Okay.
Mr. Dan is a director, and he's been a director in different towns, and his management, it's not like if he goes out there, when he means he's overwhelmed, I don't believe that he means like, oh my God, I can't
No,
handle this.
I know exactly what he meant.
Okay, what he meant is he doesn't have the personnel because of all the stuff we're doing now, especially the trees and.
How is he
you know.
going to oversee 37 parks?
Point of order.
Plus the Department of Public Works. That's all,
With
that's
public
all I have.
property, same thing, he oversees DPW. He
That's
has
my
his
comment.
supervisors underneath him.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Principado. Anybody else? Councilman Strano, can you please make your motion?
Yes, please, I move for the approval of the personnel report, and I request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes, all abstain on 4A.
Mohammed?
Yes, absolutely.
Cosby?
I abstain.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes to all except 4A.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
Can I continue with my report now?
Yes, please.
All right, thank you.
Thank
All right. Just want to follow up real quick on what John was reporting, Councilman Roman was reporting, excuse me. All right. Regarding the barricades on Southwood Avenue, I was happened to be having a conversation with the bureau chief for the traffic bureau in the county today, and he had informed me that they will be moving those barricades and creating a walkway so people will not be walking in the street. They've seen that problem, and they're going to remedy that. First, I want to wish Al McDonald a happy retirement. 38 years is a long time to spend anywhere, and that's an accomplishment in itself, and I just want to wish him well and a well-deserved retirement. Work is being done in the 7th Ward. Number one, we've got the roof replacement, thanks to the Public Properties Recreation Department, of the 7th Ward Recreation Building, which is sorely needed. It was leaking profusely, and I think there's going to be additional renovations done in that building, which will be a plus for the people in the Trimley Point area and the 7th Ward. So item number two, the new asphalt playground area has been installed at the 7th Ward Park. Extensive tree trimming was also done there as well by our DPW, and I'd like to commend our DPW director who saw fit that with the summer season coming up, the first thing to do would be to take care of the trees in the parks, because that's where a lot of children are going to be during the summer, and that was, you know, really well thought out, and I appreciate that. Three, milling and paving on Lower Road. It's in progress. It's including the area of the railroad crossing. We are nearing the final phase of the implementation of the quiet zone. Once that pavement is down and our road markings are put in and our signage is installed, which I'm hoping, again, our public properties will get on right away, we will have a ribbon cutting at that crossing, and I hope that George Verchik will be there to cut that ribbon so we can celebrate the quiet zone. The paths have been repaved in Memorial Park. I think it's better than a half a mile of path that goes through the park that's being repaved. Again, public properties. Through our engineering department, we had sanitary sewer repairs done on Southwood Avenue, and also on 19th Street. The restoration work is still pending. I know it's not satisfactory, and but, we'll stay on top of that to make sure that it's, refinished to what we consider acceptable standards. The last item I want to mention is the announcing of the waiving of the fees per Resolution 2018-272 for a ward-wide, 7th ward-wide sale to be held, yard sale, which will be held on June 30th and July 1st due to the rain out of our last date back in May. I'd like to congratulate all those who participated in the last election, win or lose. It was quite an event for everyone in the city, and with that, I will conclude my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Yemakaitis?
Thank you, Council President. I'll start with my report as liaison to the Mayor's Youth Commission. This Friday, June 22nd, the Linden High School class of 2018 will be graduating. That evening, the Mayor's Youth Commission will be hosting their annual Project Graduation. Project Graduation is a program that is offered as a part of a post-graduation party. Is an alternate to student-run house parties that may lead to underage drinking and/or drug use. This event lasts through the night and offers activities such as swimming, basketball, soccer, and dancing, just to name a few. Food, beverages, snacks, and desserts are also available all night long. The graduates are checked for illicit substances before entry and carefully monitored all night. The cost of this event ranges between $35,000 to $40,000, depending on the graduating class size. The Mayor's Youth Commission fundraises throughout the year to cover these expenses. They also receive great support from our businesses as well as from our city departments. A complete list of supporters will be read at the July council meeting. The Mayor's Youth Commission invites you to like our Facebook page and Instagram page to view live photos of the night's event. If you'd like to donate a gift to the graduates raffle, please contact Sandy at sandyvaz@hotmail.com or contact Rebecca in the mayor's office. As for the 8th Ward, I received notice from the Port Authority. The Goethals Bridge from New Jersey to New York will be closed this Friday, June 22nd from 10 p.m. until Saturday, June 23rd, opening at 8 a.m. This allows contractors to create the final configuration of the bridge with 3 lanes and shoulders on each side. Please use the Outer Bridge Crossing or Bayonne Bridge to enter Staten Island. On tonight's agenda, Ordinance 62-49 is on for introduction, amending the redevelopment plan for Park Plastics to include an additional lot. This additional lot, which is located on the corner of Worth Avenue and Bedell Place, will help expedite this project and move it forward. Once again, our city playground and day camp programs will be opening on Monday, June 25th throughout the city. The free playground programs in the 8th Ward are in Milkowski Park, located on Bedell Place, and Dorothy Ford St. Mark's Park, located on Essex Avenue. The playgrounds are open from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. with playground staff. They also offer games, sports, arts, and crafts. Please encourage your children to come out and sign up for the playgrounds. They do not have to stay the entire day. It's a good opportunity for them to get out of the house and away from the video games. So for more information on these programs, please stop by your neighborhood playgrounds and speak to the staff or call the Recreation Department at 908-474-8600. And that concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Medina?
Yes, good evening, everyone. I do have 9th Ward report and a library report, and since Councilwoman Cosby, called out the committee reports, I will be providing a quick report on the IT committee, which I'm chair of. For the library, bear with me 1 second, I had it here, I apologize. The There's a lot of upcoming events at the library, but please check the library Facebook page, website, or stop by the library circulation desk. They have event flyers that you can pick up there and just get up-to-date information. The next music event is Tuesday, June 26th at 7 p.m. Matt Cozio will be performing. Also, adult summer reading program begins July 2nd. You could also enter to win a gift card from Barnes & Noble. So again, just please, I encourage everyone to stop by the library, check out the Facebook or their website to gather more information on all their events that they have happening. So that's that on the library. As for the IT committee, and I normally do not do an IT committee report, but just want to share with you guys some of the things that we're working on. Councilman Brown and Mayor Armstead brought to the committee discussing the possibility of finding a vendor to provide a multi-facet app that will be crossed with the Board of Ed for events and calendars, and also notification. We're also working on the completion of phase 1 and 2 of the camera system, citywide camera project that was started a year ago, maybe a little bit longer. And also we're working on bringing more workable documents online that you can fill out. Right now we have the garage sale. We also have the dog license application available online. So we're trying to streamline the process when it comes to advancing technology to the public. So, and late last year we did launch our latest version of the city website. So I hope everyone had the opportunity to check out our city website. And any feedback on any changes that we can make to maybe improve it or change some layout and whatnot, please reach out to myself, mayor's office, city clerk. We'll take that feedback and we'll discuss it in the IT meetings. As for the 9th Ward, I received a few calls on the conditions of Wilson Park, the tennis court. I brought it up last night. I spoke to Director Al McDonald. He informed me of an award, of a grant that we were just awarded, and hopefully looking to replace the tennis court next year, along with other improvements throughout Wilson Park that is currently shared with the 1st Ward. So that's pretty exciting. It's a huge park and is heavily used by the public. The shade tree commissions are out trimming trees along DeWitt Terrace. Hopefully DPW will get to the largest trees throughout the course of the years. And I did just receive another tree trimmer request today from a young lady back there on Raritan Road. So I'll be adding that to the list for the county. So, a lot of tall grass complaints have been coming in. They are being addressed. We still have a few bank-owned properties throughout the ward that, again, are being addressed and being looked at. Our Board of Health Department, Nancy Koblis is back there. Her team does an amazing job on handling all the calls and emails and complaints that we're receiving as the governing bodies on these empty properties. It is pretty tasking, and they're doing an amazing job, so please, we just ask folks to be patient. And we do have a system in place that is working. So we do have city contractors out there. They will cut this grass, and we'll put a lien on those properties. So we do have a process in place, so please, we just ask for folks to be a little bit patient. Lastly, I just want to congratulate Mayor Armstead and Councilwoman Ormond on their re-election. Also, Councilwoman Yamakaitis on her election for Council President. Also, just want to thank everyone that threw their name into the democratic process. Councilwoman Hickey, Council President George Alvarez, you know, again, win or lose, you threw your name in the hat, and you did the best you can. It takes a lot of bravery, and it takes a lot of time for your family, so it's a lot. And I also want to thank all my supporters that came out on June 5th election, I believe.
Yes.
I've already forgot the date, and their support towards me. I ran unopposed, but again, the numbers and were just amazing for the supporters. I'm always available via cell phone, 908-986-6100. It could be text on my cell phone, or you can just email me, amedina@linden-nj.org. Please be safe. School's coming out. We'll be out soon. More kids in the park, more kids on the roads, more bikes. Be cautious when you're driving. I'll now conclude my report with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Hickey?
Good evening, everybody. Thank you. Not even my resident, it's Armando's resident, but thank you. First, I'm going to give my committee reports. as chairwoman of the Linden Fire Department. The report from the ambulance reimbursement system for the month of May was $65,202.73, giving us a grand total for 2018 of $371,782.35. Let's see, licenses, permits, transcripts issued by the city clerk's office during the month of May. City revenue was $4,527.27, and state revenue was $650. And lastly, from the fire department, I guess I skipped around a little. The following monies for the month of May 2018 was $9,857.90. First, I would like to just congratulate Mayor Armstead, Council President-elect Michelle Yamakaitis, Armando Medina, Councilwoman Orman, on the election, and they're winning the election. Certainly, there are no hard feelings. I ran a hard election. I'm proud of the election that I ran, and my husband couldn't be happier. Back to reality, I thank everyone for their support. I look forward to working with everyone, and I will continue to be the councilwoman that I am and out to help everyone I can, not just in my ward, but within the city. Everyone knows that I'm always a phone call away, 908-347-4548, and certainly that's the cell phone number that I always say my children have, so I'm not going anywhere. But I am glad that it's over and I can enjoy my summer, and I believe that everything happens for a reason, and I'm very content with the turnout of the election, and I will continue to sit up here and speak the truth. I have found out there's more people that watch our council meeting than we think there is, and many of them do wait for my reports, and I am proud of that. My report was very short tonight until it gets to me, and I keep adding to my list and adding to my list. You know, I'm about speaking the truth, and there are some issues that I'd like to talk about. First, I want to take a moment of silence on behalf of Dennis Valvano and the PAL in memory of Danny Kaczynski, DK, who we lost 1 year ago on June 12th. Thank you. He was a big advocate to our children, to many families, and he did amazing things in the city between baseball and basketball. And it was nice to have memories on my phone pop up the other day of him and our children, and many of us have lots of pictures of that. And we can remember how they all looked up to him. On Friday night, I attended the first Gay Pride Prom at the Hamilton Stage, hosted by the Union County Freeholders. And I have to tell you, it was an amazing night. It was beautiful. Many of the teenagers, young adults, were dressed up in what they wanted to be and how they wanted to be. And, you know, we don't know the impact that certain events like this have on other teenagers and families' lives until it happens to them. So I have to thank the County of Union. I can't wait to see the success of this event for next year. And, you know, ending with that and how marvelous it was. I also attended Pride at Roway Park on Saturday. But the hypocrisy from certain council members in their speeches tonight regarding Facebook comments and remarks, you know, please, practice what you preach. You know, you're talking to a woman, and you know what? Yep, my son is gay, and my son was wished dead on social media, and I will never stop saying that up here. So when we have other council members who need to tell us how to behave on Facebook and threaten us with attorneys and police, listen, just like the election, social media went nuts. And certainly the mayor can't help what people write on social media. I can't help what people write on social media. Please look at my Facebook. It was all positive. So is the mayor's. You know, They call it crazy season for a reason. But certainly up here, I'm not going to take remarks from a councilman who thinks his opinion on what maybe my family members and the threat of attorney matters, because it doesn't. And with that being said, certainly Sid did not receive your donation that you just mentioned before that you made to Sid, Councilman, so I'm sure they'll be anxiously waiting for that check. Before Councilwoman Cosby was talking about the personnel report. And the problem is, you know, we do discuss these things on caucus on last night. But even last night, you know, and it wasn't from the mayor, it wasn't from Council President-elect Michelle Yamakaitis, but the remarks and digs that were made at myself, Council President Alvarez, Councilwoman Cosby, were disgraceful, immature, unbusinesslike. And unless I sit up here and speak about it, people don't know. You know, you can call me, you know, causing drama or whatever you may think I'm speaking, but what I'm speaking up here is the truth. And unless I say something about it, people don't know, the residents don't know, the taxpayers don't know. It wasn't nice. And this is the same council person that's preaching tonight about, you know, social media and threatening me with an attorney. Keep threatening me. The worst thing you could do is wish somebody's child dead because he's gay, so call on the attorneys. I want to let you know that I want to congratulate many of the employees from DPW on their title changes. I know many of them have been waiting very long, and it's very well deserved. Frank Dan has been doing, Director Dan has been doing an amazing job. And I know I voted on the personnel report no to 4A. I feel that there's a lot of work to be done in our DPW department, and I think Director Dan has a lot of work to do and has his hands full, and we do have a large park system. I also believe that, as I've said before, is about people moving up the ladder who have worked here for a long time. There was an instance that was discussed last night. One of my dear friends, and she's actually my treasurer, put in for a clerk position in another department. There was actually 2 open clerk positions. They kept one open. A very wonderful person who was a clerk in the rec department was moved over to the fire department, where I know she'll be wonderful. All of a sudden now, that clerk position has been eliminated. Just like the next person to move up to recreational services and public property. He was a supporter of mine. They wanted, it's insane. So I can understand what Councilwoman Cosby is saying, and I need to talk about it, because when it's behind closed doors, nobody knows. Of course they want to keep things behind closed doors. And like I said, I just need to put it out there, because when I took an oath about the taxpayers, for the people, and for our families. And regardless of I win, and please don't think by any means this is a bittersweet loss for a mayor election, because certainly, good riddance. I like taking care of my 10th ward and the people, and I like being me together and not being targeted. So I know I rambled on too much, but these were important things that I needed to put out there. As chairwoman of DPW, I want to let you know that there was some issues with the Elizabeth dumping station last week. Our poor trucks were sitting there for 3 hours. I know many people have requested for special pickups. It's been difficult. So please, if one of your council members aren't able to do it that week, give us a chance. We're working with Director Dan, and hopefully soon we'll get back on track again. Trees at McManus have been cut down. Many of them have had issues. So our DPW tree department has been working aggressively to get our parks cleaned up and taken care of. And we will be, after McManus, I know they will be attending over at Highland Avenue, school number 10. There's been some hanging branches and issues, so I look forward to that being done. Lastly, I'd just like to wish our graduates your future. And I wish you happy graduation and a successful future, a wonderful summer to them and their families. And once again, if you ever need me, please call me on my cell or text me, 908-347-4548. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Council President, just real quick, or I can ask the mayor.
Mayor, are you ready?
Yes, Council President. Council President, I think Councilman Brown is trying to get your attention.
He just wants to start a debate.
No, I'm not going to start a debate. Council President, when accusations are made, I just want to put it out there to the public. Very simple. Transaction number 72452121131. That is the check number that was made out to my nonprofit, to SID. I'm a member of SID, and we have not had a meeting which is scheduled till July 1st. Therefore, I don't know how you would know whether a donation was made or not when we did not have a meeting in order for that to be recorded into our minutes. And it's coming out of account number, the last four numbers of 1556. So Ms. Hickey, I'm sorry, but please get your facts straight. That is a fact that I have no problem making it public and putting it out there. But it's sad that I have to resort to tactics like this to combat the misrepresentation that's coming directly out of a Chase account number. Let me restate again. Last four
Anybody can
numbers,
speak a number, Councilman.
Ms. Hickey, you got a chance to speak.
I've had enough of you
All right,
harassing
all
me
right,
the past
all right,
2 days.
stop. Mayor, please.
I apologize. I thought
If you like, you can make a donation too.
Stop, Councilman Brown.
I thought he had something more to add to one of his reports. I do
I'm
apologize.
sorry, Mayor, but yes, the floor is yours, please. Just yours.
Okay, good evening, everybody. First, let me congratulate Lisa Ormond on her reelection, Councilman Medina on his reelection. I'd like to congratulate Michelle Yamakaitis on her being elected to the council president, council president-elect winning the primary. I'd like to thank all those who participated in this election because, again, as many mentioned, elections are not easy. They take you away from your family, and they can be draining, to say the least. I'd like to say congratulations to our freeholder candidates. Although they did not win countywide, I don't think many people know that they did win here in Linden. They secured more votes than the other freeholder candidates right here in Linden. And I think what that tells us is that their message was being heard. They carried a very serious message about stabilizing taxes and giving the Linden residents a break that is so desperately needed. And it's something that we've talked about a number of times. We've talked about just having a tax holiday, okay? Just for a couple of years until we can figure out where we're going so we can help our seniors who are having a difficult time keeping their properties and just trying to live. So I thank them for going out with their message, and I thank them for working hard and representing themselves and showing that they had the city's best interest at heart. So moving on, it's been a good month. On June 6th, we had the closing of the old Pathmark property by a gentleman by the name of Howard Lee. Now, Howard Lee owns 3 stores in New Jersey and 5 in New York, so he's no stranger to the supermarket business. The building that he purchased, the old Pathmark building, is 62,000 square feet, and he wants to open it up as a super fresh. He's got a number of good ideas for the property, so it won't be a traditional supermarket. It'll be something that will have an indoor play area for children between the ages of 3 and 12 while their parents go shop. And he wants to utilize 2,000 square feet of the building for a potential laundromat for the convenience of customers. And he's also looking to use a portion of the building as a liquor store. He has plans to have a pharmacy, a flower shop, bakery, fish market, a deli, and a food court in the supermarket. So he also has plans to have organic foods, fresh fruits and vegetables. So we anticipate the opening of this building to happen in potentially the spring of 2019. Now, again, this structure is an existing structure, so he doesn't have to go through the perils of having to build from the ground up. So hopefully this particular supermarket will be open by the spring of 2019. So we had some other good news this month as well. Legacy Square, we broke ground. That's the old General Motors property. There will be a Walmart, super Walmart being built there. Groundbreaking has occurred. And we have letters of intent from a number of companies. We have Panda Express, LA Fitness, Taco Bell, Starbucks, Chase Bank, Quick Check, a Hilton Hotel, and the developer is still seeking others. So again, this development was long overdue. We had been in court for quite some years, and that delayed this particular development, but that's behind us now. And moving forward, you're going to see a very nice development. He's working very, very closely with the property owners who live next door, and that's the Cantor property. And they've have been in contact with a number of potential companies as well. So we know when everything is all said and done, you're going to have a very beautiful development on the US 1 corridor. We also had another groundbreaking on Wood Avenue, which is a Capadaglia Phase 2 project, which will be 145 units with retail below. And the difference between this particular development and the one you see across the street is that we've made them change the architectural design. It's going to be much more aesthetically pleasing, and I think with parking underneath, we've eliminated the whole issue of parking. The rental arrangements that will be made there will be, if you rent an apartment, you have a parking space. So this is something that we learned from our first project. By not having parking for all of the rental units, we learned going into the second phase to address that. On Thursday, June 21st, excuse me, I forgot to mention that we had a groundbreaking for St. George Village also last month. This is 114 units that are being built on St. George Avenue with retail below, and the developer there is so concerned about the project being a success, he will be offering and sitting down, offering incentives to those who are qualified to rent there. So to me, I think that's very commendable, and I think it just adds value to the whole project. On June 21st at 7 p.m., there's going to be a master plan meeting. We're required by law every 10 years to update our master plan, and that time has come. But what is particularly pleasing about the gentlemen who are putting this together, that's our planning board and our planner, who's Paul Ricci, we're inviting the public. We want your input. Your input is welcome here, and I'm certain that we will take your advice, if provided that it's good advice. We won't take bad advice, but we'll take constructive direction, we'll call it, as we go forward with that particular initiative. As mentioned earlier, Sam's Club will become an e-commerce, also known as a fulfillment center, right here in Linden. We were very successful at convincing Sam's Club to retain that particular location. We worked very closely with them. So while many have lost their employment, we immediately began addressing that, and several people who worked there were employed at other locations. So we know that they're going to have upwards of 40 employees at the fulfillment center, so we feel like that's a property that will continue to be utilized, and we're very happy with the progress that they're making. I'd like to just congratulate the class of 2018. Again, my council colleague, Michelle Yamakaitis, mentioned project graduation, which is coming up this Friday, and it's nothing more than our efforts to keep our children safe. It's a drug and alcohol-free night. They will be housed at one location and will not be allowed to leave until the morning. So it's always a good thing when we protect our young people. I'd like to thank Councilman Brown. A few weeks back, Councilman Brown brought the idea of bringing Great Adventure into Linden to provide employment opportunities for our young people. It's been very successful. I believe that there's going to be some additional time, some additional days set up for interviewing additional children, and I think what it has done is taken a tremendous burden off of us as the governing body, because we have tons of children looking for work, and sometimes you just can't hire them all. So he's to be commended for his efforts there. I really appreciate it. And we'll talk later. We'll announce the next interview day when it comes up. But we're sure that there's room to hire plenty more children. Unity Day. This is an annual event that we have. It'll be in the Promenade area, which is across the street from City Hall, and behind the CVS. That's going to be June 30th with a rain date of July 7th. It's always a good day. I'd like to see some more of our Linden residents attend. It is just that. It's Unity Day, and if we all come together, we can show a little unity. It's always a good thing. I got two additional things I'm going to report on. Last month, I was charged with I was charged with making a statement that I wanted this paper, the Linden Progress, to be done in a timely fashion. And it was with good reason, because there are a number of things that are in this paper now that are obsolete. Now, we announced that we were going to have a groundbreaking at various locations. That has to be changed to groundbreakings has occurred. We announced that there was going to be a graduation. That has to be changed kids have graduated. So, again, putting a paper like this requires resources and it takes money, and we have to send it back to the people who are doing the printing for us, and they have to make changes. So it is important that we have things like this done in a timely fashion. There are timelines associated with it. And last but not least, I'm going to talk about decorum. We do have to have some decorum. When I started out here many years ago, there were several gentlemen and ladies who had been here with a tremendous amount of experience. And the one thing that they did do is they fought in that back room. It happened. I mean, we had some of the most heated arguments you could ever imagine, okay? But what happened in that room stayed in that room. And we came out and we conducted business on this floor. And that's the way it is, and that's the way it should be. We've got to try to maintain decorum when we come out on the floor here. Everybody has a chance to have their councilmatic reports. You do them, and when they're over, you've had your 5 minutes of fame. So let's try to just maintain some decorum out here. The public deserves at least that much. Okay, so that concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mayor. Excuse me, sir, can you remove your hat, please? Thank you. Okay. Public comments will be permitted for those, we're going to resolutions now. Public comments will be permitted for those specific resolutions to be removed from the consent approval. Please read the synopsis of the resolutions which have been prepared by the city clerk's office. Each is informative and self-explanatory. However, if you wish to address a specific resolution, the council will entertain questions on it. Before I ask to remove any resolutions that you want to, I have a couple resolutions here which I want to go through first. I need 2018-233. I need a motion to table this until next July. This was tabled last month. I need to be tabled till next July.
Which one is that? George, which one?
Hold on, 33.
Oh. So you want to table that?
I'm not sure. Oh. Hold on a minute, hold on. We're supposed to send this to the planning board, the 218-33. Are we sending that? I have, I think, to table it. Is this the one you were talking about, sending this to the planning board? That was an ordinance.
No, resolution. Remember, it goes on dual tracks. It allows them to be able to.
I had that note prior to the conference meeting.
Okay, so that one is going to.
Yes, you're gonna let them speak on it, and then it's gonna leave the table, and then you're gonna let them speak, and then you're gonna vote on it.
Excuse me. That's okay. I'm always waiting for you. Okay. 218-233, I need a motion to,
Untable it.
yeah, that's not a correct term, though. Just take it off table?
I think it's untable.
Untable?
To remove from the table.
Remove from the table, that's what it is. I need a motion to remove from the table, please.
Council President, I'd like to have resolution number 2018-233 removed from tabling and put back on as one of the resolutions that will be voted on tonight. Can I ask a second?
Second.
Okay, at this time, I would like to see if there's any comments from the dais on this resolution? No,
Council
okay.
President, I'm sorry, we're keeping this on now?
Yes, this is supposed to just, this is the one that's going just to the planning board. That's basically it, is what it's doing. Okay, Mr. Bode, can you please roll call on this?
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yamakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Okay, at this time, I will ask 282. I will like to have a motion for 282 to be tabled till next month because of... No,
Councilor,
no.
yes.
Yes.
I know, but it's, yes, but we don't, I just spoke with the mayor and I just spoke with Danny. We were waiting for the report, it's not the right report. I would like a motion to table this till next month.
Council President, I move to table Resolution 2018-282 and request a second.
Second.
One second. Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yamakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Okay, at this time,
Council President, we have one more resolution, 286.
hold on a minute, hold on.
And 287.
287 is supposed to get pulled. 286?
No, I thought we were going to vote.
Okay, I need a motion for 286 and 287 to be removed.
Motion.
Council President?
Second.
Hold on a minute. Councilwoman McCarthy, you got a comment? What?
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
we are removing 286 and 287. It was motion, it was second. Roll call, please.
Yes.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
No.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yamakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
No on both. Okay, and one more I have is, I would like to do 283 individually. I would like Councilwoman Cosby to read it. You going to read this?
I'll read some of it. So Resolution 283, excuse me, today is actually the anniversary of Juneteenth, the 19th. It's quite long. What I'll probably do is once it's adopted, I'll post it on social media for anybody who wants to read it in its entirety, and it'll also be on the city's website. But basically, in the city of Linden, we have never acknowledged or recognized Juneteenth, so I just thought it was appropriate at the 150th anniversary this year that we do a resolution in support of the holiday. So, in a nutshell, the resolution is in support of the annual Washington Juneteenth National Holiday Observance and the National Juneteenth Holiday. Whereas for 150 years, Juneteenth National Freedom Day continues to be the most recognized African-American holiday observance in the United States, also known as Emancipation Day. I'm skipping through just to give you some information. Approximately 11.5 million African-Americans survived the voyage to the New World. The number that died is likely greater, only to be subjected to whipping, castrations, branding, rape, tearing apart of families, and forced to submit to slavery for more than 200 years after they arrived in the United States. So Juneteenth commemorates the day freedom was proclaimed to all slaves in the South by Union General Granger on June 19th, 1865 in Galveston, Texas, more than 2.5 years after the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation. So a lot of people weren't even familiar that slavery had ended and people were still enslaved in Texas. So like I said in our caucus last night, I would hope and ask that, you know, our town do like neighboring towns and commemorate on an annual basis the Juneteenth holiday. So hopefully maybe the Culture Committee, I know Councilwoman Ormond thought it was a good idea and she sits on the Culture Committee, so perhaps next year we'll have some kind of a community event to that. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but I just wanted to just like put it out there.
Just the main points, okay.
Yeah, so thank you.
Can I have a motion?
Oh, no, by itself? No.
Yes.
Oh, so I'm gonna make a motion for resolution 2018-283 and ask for a second.
Second.
Can I have a roll call, please?
3, 5, and who?
5 and 1?
Yeah.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
I don't even understand.
Okay, at this time, I have resolutions 248 through 285, 282, and 283 already taken care of. So anybody wants to speak on any other?
Council President, if I may,
Yes,
you said 248. I think we have to vote on 233.
we just voted on
We
233.
voted to untable it, we didn't vote to pass it.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. We just removed it from table.
Great, thank you.
Okay, 233 and 248 through 285, excluding 282 and 283. Thank you, Councilman Strano. Okay, let's start. Mr. Principato. 233. Okay, okay. 255. 257. 265. 277.
282 was taken off, correct?
Correct.
284.
284.
Oh, I'm sorry, no. I'm sorry.
Not 284?
I just made a couple notes on there, that's not, no, I don't want to do that. And the ordinance, we're not going into the ordinance.
No, no. Okay, anybody else? Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name is Craig Helen, 260,
260.
260,
Yes.
271,
271.
yes, 279,
279.
281,
281.
yes, and I'd just like to point out on 285, there's a mistake in the way it's printed.
285 has a mistake.
Yes, it says that the terminating June 4th, 2002.
Thank you. It is 2020, the resolution is 2020, right, Joe?
Yes, 2020. Thank you, sir. I will chastise Mr. Bodek for that one.
Better leave Joe alone.
You do not want to speak on that one, though? You just wanted to call that out?
Yes, that's all.
Okay. So no 285. Anybody else? Councilman Roman?
263.
263. Anybody else? Okay. I need a motion.
Council President, I move for approval of resolutions 248 to 285, with the exception of 233, 255, 257, 260, 263, 265, 271, 277, 279, and 281, and I request a second.
Second.
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
I'm voting no to 249. I'm abstaining on 285 and 276, and voting yes to the rest.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Hang on 1 second, Joe.
84.
Yes, I abstain on 284.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Just quickly want to say thank you to the LEDC for doing a great job. So yes to all.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Councilman Roman, can you start with 263, please?
Thank you, Council President. Let me move through here. This is a resolution approving contract with TNM to optimize traffic signals on Wood Avenue. Years ago, we took over the traffic lights at Wood Avenue. They haven't been optimized in a very long time. We have some data from 2014. It wasn't any good. It's outdated as well as, I don't think it was quite right data. It was an actual traffic study. So this is stemming from, we had crossing guards out there because it was a very dangerous intersection. And a bunch of us got together, everyone got on the phone, talked to engineering, talked to everyone. I know I'm new at this, but this hasn't been done in X amount of years. It could be a major reason why traffic is like it is on Wood Avenue. And it was simply a couple people working and addressing an issue, and it's getting done. Not a lot of money, in my opinion. They did look for a grant, but for 14.5, this could have a great effect on Wood Avenue, so I'm excited about it, and I hope everyone votes yes on it.
Okay, can I have a motion on that one?
Council President, I move for approval of Resolution 2018-263 and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Orman?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Halloran, can you come up, please? Let's start with 260.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
260.
260.
Yes, sir.
It's about purchasing these Ford Interceptor cars. I believe at a former council meeting, it was pointed out that cars were not available or cars were not accessible for the police department, and therefore they brought 5 sport utility police vehicles. The other problem I have is I know in the past there have been issues with Ford sedans being used as police cars, failing crash tests from the rear where the police cars would catch on fire. I was wondering if this was checked into at any time before they want to buy these sedans.
Chief Hart?
Excuse me, the Interceptors, the SUVs are used for patrol. They're versatile, they're all-wheel drive, they're safer vehicles, they're bigger vehicles. The other cars that we're ordering are 3 more. They will be Tauruses for the Detective Bureau. The old-style Ford Crown Vics, which most of us love, they've been around for a long time, are safer cars. They're no longer making them in a police package. So the SUVs are for patrol. They carry all the equipment that we have, computers, bigger for the officers, and the 3 to 4 other cars which we are buying, the Tauruses, will be used for undercover and the detective division. As we get new cars in, the other cars are cycled out, so the fleet doesn't keep growing. They either go into city hall departments or agencies, or if they have high mileage and are not safe, they'll be scrapped.
Okay, but, I apologize, but I don't believe that answered my question of whether or not these new police cars, these Ford cars, were tested for any problems with gas tanks exploding or catching on fire when hit from the rear.
I'm not aware of anything. If we do, our city garage, Mr. Ferretti gets all the alerts from the dealers, and they will be brought back if there's any recalls or any safety issue. Of course, they'll be tested and taken care of the
No, I
proper
guess,
way.
I worry about the safety of our police.
I appreciate it. These are police packages, so we get them through a co-op within the state, and the best price and everything. So we are on top of it, and if there's any recalls, we're on top of it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Don't go away, sir, since I have you up here. 271,
271.
gun control?
Okay. No, just it's very, I mean, I understand support of gun control, but it's very vague in what it's supposed to, what the resolution is supporting in the support of gun control.
Yes, Cosby?
So the resolution was acknowledging one of the organizations, Moms Demand Gun Action. It also is going to be sent to our Senate, U.S. Senate, and our U.S. Congressmen. So we're asking that they would not support some of the not sensible legislation, some things insofar as people with background checks. So like when I read the ordinance, it was, I mean, the resolution, it was, so we want to have background checks, and some people in Congress are opposed to that. So we're just encouraging our representatives in the legislative district here to support the common sense legislation. People want a no-fly list. They should not be allowed to purchase firearms, you know, things like that.
Okay, I don't know whether or not any of this takes into account new laws that the governor just signed into, I think it was, what, a half a dozen gun control things. I don't know what he signed, I didn't, you know, but I was just, you know, to me it was just, you know, I understand support of gun control, but it's a very general statement, and I do thank you for clarifying it.
My pleasure.
Okay.
Mr. Halloran, 279,
279.
resolution
Again,
supporting Sandy Hook Promise.
Sandy Hook Promise, I imagine it had something to do with gun control. So again, I won't get into
Okay.
that anymore.
And 281,
281, this is just a one-time item for revenue into the budget of $6,732.65.
281.
281.
Clean Communities Account Fund in the amount of $6,732. Director of the Regional Government Services. Yeah, that's a Clean Community. Christine? 2018-281, we have a resolution requesting the Director of Division of Local Government Services to approve the insertion of a special item revenue. Okay, and that's for Clean Communities?
This is a grant that the city will be getting, and we'll be amending the budget through the state, through the Division of Local Government Services.
Okay.
But
what
I
is
believe
this
the
gonna be
grant
spent
amount is
on?
incorrect.
The
Joe?
what?
I believe the grant amount should be a different amount.
Yes, this is a 159, Christine?
Yes.
281.
Yeah, I think that should be 5 figures. So we're missing the 4.
$67,432.
This is a grant.
Okay, I think that's all that I questioned about.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Can I have a motion, please, for 260, 271, 279, and 281?
Council President, I move for approval of resolutions 2018-260, 271, 279, and 281, and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. No, not yet. Mr. Principado, can you please come up? Make sure, can you give us your name and your address, please? We're not sure what it is.
John Principato, 1706 Westover Road.
Let's start with 233.
233. What's being amended on this particular resolution?
Mr. Antonelli, 233, this is, okay.
Mr. Polis.
I could at least start off and redevelopment council could
that's
continue,
right.
but this is a referral to the planning board to amend the redevelopment plan to allow for a multifamily housing, and I'll defer to redevelopment council to make sure I'm correct, or if not, he could correct me.
Mr. Pauls, please.
Thank you, Council. Yes, Council President and council members, roughly the Linden Airport Development Area, AKA, everybody might know it better as the old banquet hall, former banquet hall area, which was tied up in litigation some years past. And the city has title to the property. About a year ago, solicited proposals from developers to redevelop the area. A couple proposals were submitted, and since that time, the city has been in discussions with one specific redeveloper to potentially redevelop the area into, I believe it will be approximately 27 residential units. Redeveloper has been putting in his own time and energies with regards to pursuing certain FAA approvals, since it is close in that area, and other subsequent approvals, and it has been working with his professionals as well as Mr. Ricky, the city's professional, to amend the redevelopment plan that was previously in place to conform with the current proposal for the 27 units, such as setbacks from the frontage, from side yards, which you would see in any standard planning board application. In terms of redevelopment, the council has to refer these amendments to the planning board for review and comment before the council may consider an ordinance amending the redevelopment plan. So this is just the first step in the process. The council would be asked to refer the redevelopment plan to the planning board for review and comment. The planning board would have a public hearing where they would give their input to the council, as well as any other participants for the public that would like to speak on the matter. The council would consider those recommendations, if any, and then by ordinance, so it'd be introduction at one meeting and then a vote at a second in order to potentially approve the amendments to the redevelopment plan.
All right, so maybe you can answer my questions then. In your professional opinion, what brings the city more bang for its buck? Is it residential units or commercial?
I think, and I don't want to speak for policy considerations or for the council, but I think what many municipalities see, and Linden is no different, it's that you can only be as successful, or you can only consider as many options as presented to you. In this specific instance, for whatever reason, maybe certain costs to do due diligence, maybe to make an offer to purchase the land, which this redeveloper has done. Any of those things go into consideration from a private redeveloper's perspective. And really, the city received one fully fleshed out idea, and that happened to be residential. With regards to this area, the city planner has opined that it would be inappropriate to put a project of this limited size in this area. And as
Inappropriate, you said? Appropriate or inappropriate?
Inappropriate, excuse me. It would be appropriate, probably, and I don't want to speak for the city planner who's not here, maybe anything larger might not be appropriate for this size and space. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it's going to come back to the city council to vote on the amendments to the redevelopment plan and any other agreement that's entered in the future with the redeveloper to redevelop the parcel.
All right, so let me ask you my question again. What is going to bring the city more?
Mr. Principado,
More,
that has nothing to do with this resolution. Let's stick with the resolution, please. Okay, the resolution is just very simple. We're sending this to the planning board.
okay, then is it going to come back here?
It has to come back to us, yes.
Okay.
Okay, that's all we're
So
doing
they're
right
going to
now.
review what exactly? Whether or not it can be
Developed.
Council
developed
President,
as
I
a
think I can
residential
help him.
property,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, that's all that's going to happen, and then it comes back to us, and then we have to do the next steps.
Okay.
Okay?
Council President?
No need for this, this is done. No, not yet. 255? General growth properties utilizing a portion of parking in Woodbridge Center Drive.
What's the cost to the taxpayer, and what's the liability?
Chief, 2018-255, we're going to be using 250 Woodbridge Center Drive to do some motor officer training. Does that cost the city anything?
It
Costs nothing, the training's over already. It was a class that Linden hosted at the Woodbridge Center proper because it's a parking lot, it's a safe area. It's coned off, was under underhang there. It was done last month, this training.
Damn, you're fast, chief. Thank you. All right, sir, that one's done.
Okay.
257, resolution for street sweeping services for public work from deer carcass removal services. Please do not get confused. Deer carcass removal services is just a name, okay?
I know, I was there.
We went over it.
I was there
and
last
we
night.
argue, it's just a name.
I was there.
Okay, oh, that's right, you were there.
Yeah, I was there. I heard all about it. But, you know, I was not, there was some part of it that wasn't clear to me. Approximately how many tons a month are taken out of our bin?
Mr. Dan, can you give us an answer to that, please?
Because we were talking about the street sweepings.
Just the street sweeping.
Just the street
Yes.
sweepings. So my question is, how many tons per month?
I'd have to get back to you on that. I have no idea.
All right, well, it's $41,000. Okay? I don't know how many tons per month it is, but I've done work with contaminated materials, and I know approximately how much in the last 5 years it costs to get rid of contaminated materials. It's different contamination than what we're speaking of here. And I'd like to know what the ratio is, what we're paying per ton. Only because, you know, if it's 10 tons, then we're paying $4,000 a ton.
Right.
It's not relevant, you know? So maybe we can just find out what that is before we vote on it?
Council President.
Hold on a minute, Peter. Councilman Brown. Mr. Dan?
Deer carcass removal, in addition to a number of other companies, entered into a bid with the state. And this is a state contract. They were the lowest bidder for street sweeping removal. This also includes the analytical testing prior to removing it. So it's not just simply taking the material and getting rid of it. There's testing, there's hauling, and again, this was the best price statewide.
And also,
Okay.
it's not to
So are
exceed.
we married to that then, basically?
Pretty
Because
much
it's a
if
state
if it was
contract,
the-
okay.
Right.
All right.
I thank you.
I'm still interested to know how many tons.
Mr. Dan, can you contact Mr. Principato?
if you can.
And give him the numbers, please?
Yes, I will, Council President.
Thank you.
Okay, 265, Mr. Principato.
Okay. This is the Worth Avenue property, and the question I have is, how does adding a lot to the redevelopment of this property expedite it?
Mr. Pauls, this is Resolution 2018-265.
Thank you, Council President, Council, and Mr. Principato. So as the council may know, there's a former site in the city of Linden commonly known as the Park Plastics site. There's been a proposal for a redeveloper, and it's essentially two lots that, I don't have a map in front of me and I apologize, but it's almost a triangular point it comes to in that area of the two lots. The one lot, Lot 3, has already been previously designated as an area in need of redevelopment, and there's a redevelopment plan for that, to redevelop that parcel. The redeveloper has approached the city, and in addition to purchasing that parcel, is also in the private negotiation to purchase Lot 4, which is a single-family residence, which is almost right at the tip of the triangle, if I had the map in front of me, and I apologize again for not having it. So, in order to more fully redevelop the area, the redeveloper requested that the city council consider studying Lot 4 as an area in need of redevelopment in order to redevelop the entire area, with the idea that the redeveloper will enter into a private negotiation for the purchase of that single-family residence. The status of that is unknown to me at this point, although there have been constant communications, and it does seem, positive that the redeveloper will be able to come to an individual agreement with that property owner to buy that parcel in order to fully develop what's commonly known as the former Park Plastics site.
So it doesn't really expedite the process. It actually slows it down a little bit, correct?
Well, running on a parallel track, and I don't know if it's here, or if we've previously done it with council, but we'll also be amending the redevelopment plan. And it's not slowing it down. The city council would not be slowing the redeveloper down. The redeveloper has certain timelines, and currently we're meeting those timelines by doing this. So no, we, meaning the city in conjunction with the redeveloper, would not be slowing down anything by doing this. Actually, under the redevelopment law, we would have to do this in order to include that area in the redevelopment plan to have the full 2 lots redeveloped.
Okay, and last one is 277. That's for the City Hall generator?
This is for a generator for City Hall, I assume.
Mr. Vercha, can you please come up for a minute?
So is this for one generator?
Have you seen the generator?
No, but it better be the size of City Hall for
It's-
$1.5 million.
It's just about the size of City Hall. Half of it, I will say.
Huh?
It's right next to the JTG. You can't miss it.
I saw where they were working over there. I didn't see the whole thing.
Mr. Verchek, Resolution 277 authorizing the amendment to the contract with Foley, Inc. in the amount of $45,000 for the City Hall generator. Inclusive of this amount, the total contract is $1.5 million.
Yes.
Thank you. There goes Mr. Principato.
Oh, that answers everything.
What is this
Well,
for?
My question is why an additional 45,000?
What's the $45,000 for?
Something happened?
Okay, there was some extra work that the Elizabethtown Gas Company had to do. There was, the stack had to be raised to DEP standards, and then they had to do some switchgear inside of City Hall so that when the power went down, the generator automatically went up.
Okay, right.
So there were 4 items and they equal 3% of the original contract.
Okay, sir? Thank you.
Thank you. Is that it?
Yes. I need a motion for 233, 255, 257, 265, and 277, please.
Council President, I move for approval of resolutions 233, 255, 257, 265, and 277, and request a second.
Second. Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Yes. Mohammed? Crosby?
Yes.
Roman?
I vote yes for all except for 233, I abstain.
233, Mrs. Crosby?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes to all except 233.
And Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. All right, this time we're going into ordinances on introduction. First reading, is there anyone wishing to make a comment? There will be no questions. You will come up, I will call you, will make a comment on the ordinance. Deputy Clerk, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Can you please read, without cheating, you're going to read the whole thing, right?
I'm going to read the whole thing.
6244, please.
An ordinance creating a new chapter in the Code of the City of Linden entitled Business Hours.
Does anybody want to make a comment? May I have a motion to introduce, please?
Yeah, regulating.
She said an ordinance creating a new chapter in the Code of the City of Linden entitled Business Hours. That's all. $50? No $50, sir. Can I have a motion to introduce, please?
Council President, I make a motion that we introduce ordinance 6244 and ask for a second.
Second?
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Deputy Clerk, can you read 6245, please?
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 2 Administration of an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance Adopting and Enacting the Revised General Ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Section 2-12, Department of Police, delete Section 2-12.12, Special Law Enforcement Officers, and add Section 2-12.12, Special Law Enforcement Officers. This is creating the position of Class 3 Special Law Enforcement Officers.
Will anybody want to make a comment on this? Come up, please, sir.
Jim Craig Heller, 120 Donaldson Place. What is a special law enforcement
No,
officer?
no questions.
Excuse me?
No questions, just comments.
Oh, comment.
But you know something, sir, to appease you as officers for the
I'm
Board of
sorry.
Education.
Then if I'm not allowed to ask a question of what this officer does, then I have no comment.
Okay,
George,
thank
may
you.
May I explain it?
No, let's leave it at that, then we'll have to explain the other ones. Can I have a motion to introduce, please?
Council President, I move for the introduction of ordinance number 62-45 and request a second.
Second?
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Yes. Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Ms. Hona, can you please read 6246?
Bond ordinance providing appropriation of $77,000 for citywide curb and sidewalk reconstruction for and by the City of Linden, and authorizing the issuance of $73,150 in bonds or notes for financing part of the appropriation.
Does anybody want to make a comment on this introduction? May I have a motion, please?
Council President, I move for introduction of ordinance number 6246 and request a second.
Second?
Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Yes. Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Ms. Hona, can you please read 6247?
Bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $165,000 for the acquisition of playground equipment and renovations for various parks for and by the City of Linden, and authorizing the issuance of $85,500 in bonds or notes of the city for financing part of the appropriation.
Does anybody want to make a comment on this ordinance?
I do.
All right, make your comment.
So Hagel Avenue Park is in with some of this funding, so I'm looking forward to having Hagel Avenue Park's renovations done after the funds are approved. That's it.
That's it? May I have a motion to introduce, please?
Council President, I move for introduction of ordinance number 6247 and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Ms. Hona, can you please read 6248?
An ordinance to amend an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance Establishing a Schedule of Titles, Salary Ranges, and Regulations for Maintaining the Classification and Salary Standardization Plan of all employees of the City of Linden, passed August 15, 1995, and approved August 16, 1995, adding Schedule 4 MM6.
Does anybody want to make a comment on this ordinance? May I have a motion to introduce, please?
I move ordinance number 62-48 for introduction and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Mr. Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Yes. Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Ms. Hona, can you please read 6249?
An ordinance adopting an amended redevelopment plan for the park plastic sites, initially governing the redevelopment of Block 496, Lot 3, to include Block 496, Lot 4 on the tax map of the city, pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law, NJSA 40A:12A-1 at sequence.
Would anybody want to make a comment on this introduction? Can we please have a motion?
Council President, I move for introduction of ordinance 6249 and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Mr. Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis? Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Ms. Nguyen, can you please read 6250?
An ordinance to adopt the redevelopment plan entitled 1001 West Elizabeth Avenue redevelopment plan, Block 423, Lot 4.02, pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law, NJSA 48:12A-1 at sequence.
Does anybody want to make a comment on this introduction? Can I please have a motion?
Council President, I move for introduction of ordinance number 6250 and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Ms. Nguyen, can you please read 6251?
An ordinance to adopt the Avenue C redevelopment plan concerning Block 580, lots 13 and 14 on the tax maps of the City of Linden pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law, NJSA 40A:12A-1 at sequence.
Does anybody want to make a comment?
I do, Council President.
Councilman?
When we first considered this, I had mentioned that I was worried that this is the old Walmart property up to Modell's essentially, and redeveloping it, we were going to displace tenants, especially one in particular, which just went in there and built $1 million facility. I spoke to the owner, and I just want to let everyone know that in the lease agreement, there's a very generous buyout option, and everything is good in regards to this. So, thank you.
Anybody else? May I have a motion to introduce, please?
I move ordinance number 6251 for introduction and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Yes. Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Ms. Nguyen, can you please read 62-52?
An ordinance approving the application for a long-term tax exemption and authorizing the execution of a financial agreement with PR2 GAR Tremley Properties 2 Urban Renewal LLC.
Does anybody want to make a comment? Mr. Principado, please.
Here we go again with the long-term tax exemptions. Why are we giving long-term tax exemptions to these companies? I don't understand it. It really makes zero sense. Again, I have to say that Linden and this area especially right now, with what's going on in this area, why are we even thinking about tax exemptions? The citizens of Linden are paying too much in taxes, period, end of story. And we're giving big corporations who are making big bucks tax exemptions. We don't need to make anything more appetizing for this city. They're going to come here regardless. It frustrates me and it angers me, okay? I'm not going to come up for the next couple ordinances that, the next two. But I hope I get my point across. We don't need to give big companies tax exemptions. We don't need a lot of these pilot programs. If I take a poll, I'm sure it would be, if I took a poll of 100 people, it would be probably about 100 to 1 to none that they'd be in agreement with me. Stand your ground and make them pay their taxes. Then maybe we'll get more than a $12 a year decrease, because a $12 a year decrease, it'll take me 5 years to get $50. What am I going to do with that? I can't even take my family out to dinner for $50. It's a joke.
Council President, comment?
No comments on this.
But other council members made comments on other resolutions,
No.
ordinances.
They spoke on this.
All right,
There's no answer, there's no
I'm
questions
not
on this.
answering his question. I have a comment.
Oh, comments,
Yeah.
yes, okay.
So I just
I guess you want to make
clarify,
comment,
this
too?
is a pilot program, and
You're answering.
no, I'm not answering him.
Yes.
I'm making a statement, Council President. Thank you.
Semantics.
Is that, with the pilot programs, I support this resolution. My statement is I support this resolution because we're receiving payments that directly come to the city, as opposed to property taxes where a certain percentage, a larger chunk goes to the county and to the Board of Education. So, and in addition, my statement is that we talked about tax exemptions and that banks like to see some type of stability in the financials of companies. And so 30-year pilot programs are the minimum. If you go throughout the whole county, throughout the state and state of New Jersey, this is the standard that we're living by. That's my statement.
Councilman Roman.
My statement. I'm personally not for pilot programs or big long-term tax exemptions on residential buildings because it really puts a drain on our Board of Education. But this is the old GAF property out in Tremley beyond the Turnpike, I believe, or near the Turnpike, down Southwood Ave. The going rate for warehousing anywhere in this area of this state or even the whole state is $8 to $9 per square foot, and normal taxes here would hit them at 14, and they just won't build it. They won't build a massive, huge warehouse in Linden because they can go to other towns and do it right now. Elizabeth, Carteret, other places. I would have always said, hey, let's look at this hard. And I looked at it hard. And I looked at it hard enough to where I can say, you need to do this for these companies, otherwise they're not even going to consider it. And then the amount of money that we're going to bring in through this service charge, I mean, it's a what, $600 million project, and it's a lot of money, and it's a lot more than it is with this wasted barren land that was just cleaned up. It's here, you know, it's not a bad deal, and it's the going rate. So I'm going to support it as well. And no,
Anybody else? May I have a motion, please? Okay. I'll put a motion to introduce 6252.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Mrs. Orman?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
No.
Roman?
yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
No.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Ms. Hunter, can you please read 6253?
An ordinance approving the application for a long-term tax exemption, authorizing the execution of a financial agreement with PR2 GAR Tremley Property 3 Urban Renewal LLC.
Any comments? Come on, please. I thought you said you were not going to make any comments.
I wasn't going to until Mr. Brown commented.
Okay. Give us your name and your address.
John Principato, 1706 Westover Road. I'm going to reiterate what I just said before. It's a 30-year tax exemption, correct? Have we done the numbers on what the taxes are as opposed to the one-time payout? Have you done the numbers? If you did the numbers, I'm sure they're not the same, and I'm sure it's not beneficial to the city. It's a one-hit wonder. That's what we're getting. Welcome to Linden, come on in. Take everything. It angers me, you know? And I'm sure there's a lot of people sitting in this room that feel the same way and watching it on television. If you can tell me what the numbers are, and you can prove to me that the numbers are better, then I wouldn't even get up. But to put an ordinance like this and not be specific on what it's going to, how it's going to be advantageous to the city, then you know what? To me, it's not worth the paper it's written on.
Council President?
You have a comment?
Yes, I do. Mr. Principato, this actually ordinance is on an
Councilwoman Hickey, you're not answering, Mr. Principato. You're making a comment on the
Okay.
ordinance.
I'm making a comment. This ordinance was, is an introduction. We just received the financial agreements last night, and they need to be reviewed by, well, some of us, and within the next month before the next reading. On the second reading is the most important one, where you can decide whether you want to say yes or say no. So certainly, many of us will be reviewing those financial agreements. I do understand your frustration. That's
Anybody
in my
else?
comment.
I have a comment.
Ms. Cosby, did you say yes?
So, before I came on council, I opposed the 2001 deal that fell through and cost the city $6 million from a different LLC. And I'm firm on, I don't agree with 30-year tax abatements or pilots, because I get it, we do get the funds directly to our city. However, the Board of Education gets nothing. And then, so they have to still do their due diligence and raise the taxes, and then, guess what? People are gonna complain about the Board of Education raising taxes, but that's what we're supposed to do to pay the bills. And if we were getting an equal amount of taxes from developers who are gonna make money off of us, then, you know, we wouldn't be, you know, putting ourselves against the Board of Education, and we'd actually be taking the pool of money together and benefit the taxpayers that way. And as I said, it's not new for me not to support a 30-year tax lien. I'm not going to change my position.
Councilman?
Yeah, my statement is, I agree, we should not be talking hypotheticals, and that we should have hard, real numbers. And so my statement is this, is that we do that. We have NW Financial that runs numbers, that runs the pilot programs versus deltas and other different scenarios called illustrations versus what we would get in property taxes. And so every redevelopment that you see here goes through a process where we have our financial professionals who are in the industry, who are licensed, who do this for a living with other redevelopment projects, run different scenarios to see what works best in the interest. And so a lot of these financial agreements are negotiated, and most of the time it's negotiated up from what the developer wants. So these are not hypothetical numbers that we're putting on here saying we get more money of this. We have black and white, which you are entitled to. As a resident, you can do open requests and look at some of these financial documents. So I understand. I don't believe in hypotheticals, but I do believe in black and whites for my financial professionals who do this for a living, and we run different type of illustrations to plug those numbers into our budget. Hence why we went from $5.2 million over the cap a couple of years ago to now being under the cap. By working with a team of financial professionals, we see what is in the best interest of the city. That is my statement.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yes, Council President, I'd like to make a statement.
Yes, Councilman.
I've been a councilman for upwards of 15 years in this ward. I lived in Tremley Point since 1987. I had a business in the 7th Ward from 1984. And I've been privy to see every dog and pony show that you could imagine walk through the mayor's office going back to the 1990s, and none of them have come to fruition for the developments of these projects. That's quite a while ago. We're talking history. To see real people with real dollars come into this area to redevelop a property that's sorely needed, it's been lying fallow for many, 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 many years. To me, to question the credibility of what we're doing here, where we have real players that are putting hard dollars on the table, where we're going to see some real ratables come into this city that are sorely needed, to be questioned like that, like we're ignorant, is just beyond me. And I am supporting this resolution, or this ordinance that I'm going to introduce, as well as the other ones for that area. I'm tired of hearing the rhetoric.
Councilman Roman?
Again, my statement is I've looked over this like a madman, trying to find the details. I'm up here to do right by you guys, and that's it. This project is going to bring us tens of millions of dollars. that's my understanding of it. And again, what else do I gotta say? Build it. Like, I don't see any other options on the table to build a $600 million project.
Anybody else? Can I please have a motion to
Yes,
introduce?
Mr. President.
What?
I'd like to add some comment. You know, as Councilman Strano mentioned, you know, he served in the dais for upwards of 15 years. I've been here for 25 years. And again, we've seen a lot of dog and pony shows come to Trimley Point. And again, nothing really came to fruition. We worked tirelessly to get Advanced Greek to come in and present something that was acceptable and that would move the city forward. And I believe that they are. The economics and the conditions are just right for them to come in, and this pilot plan that we're offering will enable them to be competitive with other towns who are building warehouses. Because what will happen here, if you don't create an environment that's conducive for them to grow or build, they'll go elsewhere. Like, again, you got Carteret, you have Elizabeth, you have a number of towns who have property that are suitable for this type of development. So what you have to do, you have to basically compete. And that's what we're doing. And I think at the end of the day, the homeowners and the residents of this town will benefit tremendously by having this piece of land developed. To sit on it for another 25 years or another 10 years would be ludicrous.
Yes, Mrs. Espinosa, can you please come up here? Nice tie.
Alex Espinosa, LEDC Director. I just want us to keep in mind that Tremley Point is one of the most polluted areas in the state of New Jersey, and we also have to put in consideration the job creation this is going to bring. So just wanted to mention that. So
Thank you, sir.
thank you.
Stop. Are you guys finished?
That's why we're great LEC.
Quiet. Are you guys finished? No. Are you going to talk about the ordinance?
Absolutely, what else?
Oh, okay. All right, then go ahead.
Yeah, well, I rise in support of it because of, thank you so much. I rise to support the ordinance for the reason that the economic director just said, it's a job creator. I think we need jobs. I'm pro-jobs. I'm pro-economic development. And I'm not for nightmares or just empty rhetoric. I'm for real stuff.
Anybody else? Can I have a motion to introduce, please?
Yes, Council President, I'd like to introduce ordinance number 62-53, if that's the correct number, because it's been such a long time, and ask for a second.
Hold on a minute. Is it 53?
Yes.
You're right. I lost count. I forgot to.
And I think I'll second it.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Mr. Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Mohammed?
Absolutely, yes.
Cosby?
No.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
No.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Ms. Honan, can you please read 6254?
An ordinance amending the Infinium redevelopment project and redevelopment plan and referring it to the planning board for review and comment pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law, NJSA 40A:12A at sequence.
Any comments?
I can't ask a question, right?
No questions? You can make any comment you want.
Make a comment?
I'm
That's
a-
in the question form?
You know something? At this point, it doesn't matter because your
I
questions
just
will
want to
be
know what
answered.
it is, that's all.
Anybody else? Can we have a motion, please?
Council President, I move for introduction of ordinance 6254 and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Mr. Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Ms. Honan, can you please read 6255?
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 2 Administration of an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance Adopting and Enacting the Revised General Ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Section 2-12, Department of Police. Delete Section 2-12.1, created Department of Police, and add new Section 2-12.1, created Department of Police. This will add 4 special law enforcement officers, number 3 officers, to the complement.
Does anybody want to make a comment on this ordinance?
Council President.
Can I have a motion, please?
Council President, I'd like to introduce ordinance number 62-55 and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Mr. Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Yes. Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Aye.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
Council President,
Yes.
could I just have a moment, a point of order, please? The city clerk just reminded me that all of these ordinances that we just introduced are on the city website. So prior to the next meeting, if the people would take the time to read them in their full description, it might answer some of the questions they might have prior to coming to the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, you'll be able to find out which one that is, the one that you were asking about? Sorry? The one that you were asking, what area it is? Okay, just look it up on the website and you'll be able to find it there. Okay, comments from members of the public in attendance. No personal, political, or derogatory comments. Not to exceed 10 seconds. I can change that. 5 minutes. If there's anyone who did not get a chance to sign the sign-in sheets to speak at this time, please come up and sign it. Everybody who wants to talk? Okay. Let's get started. Mr. Halloran, please come up.
Craig Halloran, 120 Donaldson Place. Question, this is probably more of a legal question for the lawyer. If the school board election was moved back to a previous date, I think it was in April, whatever, would that give the citizens of the city the right to not only vote for the school board members, but vote on the actual school budget? And why doesn't the city enact or do something like that? I know Asbury Park is one of the towns that does have the school board election, I believe, in April.
I can answer that if you'd like.
So can I.
Okay.
No, nobody's going to talk. You get your minute at the end. Not you. You get your minute at the end. You can ask anything you want. You will get a minute. We have 2 people here that were on Board of Ed. Will gladly answer that.
Okay.
Okay, and we have 1.5 lawyers. We have 2 lawyers that are very capable of answering that. Okay.
That's it. Done.
Thank you, sir. Gentlemen, Mr. Roth, remind me, when I say 1 minute at the end, that you raise your hand, please? Thank you. Okay. Ms. Gina Correnti. Ma'am, give your name, your address, and start talking.
I am Gina Currenti, and I live 122 Raritan Road, Linden. If you want to laugh for my broken English, you can do so. I'll give you the permit to do. Everybody can laugh in this room.
Ma'am, nobody laughs at my broken English. Nobody's
No,
going to laugh
because
at
the
yours.
mayor, he hang up on me every time I call. I'm here for the people that don't talk good English. I know I'm here for me, for the people. We work so hard, like a dog, for pay the tax, for do everything we can do, for give a better life to us kids. I am a Sicilian woman. I came here 33 years ago. I came with nothing, just my education. I work hard. I even work laundry lady for 7 years in public school. Make money. My children the other day, the one I feed. Yeah, I give always my smile. That's what I bring from my place. The smile, that's it. My name is the treatment. I try to call the chief. I don't know why, they don't have somebody. The people talk like me. I can stay here crying for 33 years, how long I'm here. 33 long years I can cry. But I'm very short and sweet. Very short and sweet. So everybody can want to learn something from me, they can come to me. Because I'm a very talented woman. I am a very talented woman. I can sing, I can dance, I can do everything. If you see me in the street and you want to tell me something about you, you can do it to me. Because I stand up for the people that don't have words. Yeah, I will do so. If I'm 100 years old, that's what I'm going to do. I called somebody, I don't even say the name. She hung up on me. Like I am no woman, nothing. They make me feel like I'm nobody. I don't have nobody here. Yes. My family is all in Sicily, in Switzerland. We are all over the world. But if I just to speak very broken English, I can speak French, I can speak Spanish, I can speak every language. This was a very boring night for me. But I was here to stand because I'm a strong woman. I can carry the world. I made it beautiful my place Sicily. I'm going to make it beautiful Linden. This year I become American citizen. Was my first time to vote. I went in the church and prayed to give it the vote. And I think I did a good job. I can sleep for 4 more years. I never will be here again, never. Not even a million years. Wake me up in 4 years.
Thank you, ma'am. Jamie Fisher left, and Gary Cohen. Mr. Principato?
John Principato, 1706 Westover Road. Sam's Club is now a warehouse, basically. So it went from a retail store to being another warehouse. Why are we still learning when it comes to developing in the city of Linden? We spoke before, the mayor spoke about the parking spaces. Now we're going to build units with proper parking spaces. Well, the city's had ordinances on how many parking spaces you need per unit for years that I remember. And even before the Meridian property was built, and we gave them our commuter parking, part of our commuter parking, instead of insisting that they build a building that can accommodate the amount of people that are in it as far as parking goes. So we shouldn't be learning as far as the parking goes. I mean, I could see we're learning on how to build as far as adding commercial units to the bottom of the building, which we're going to be doing across the street, which is fantastic. There was an ordinance that was tabled, the PAL ordinance, for $20,000, I believe it was. I was very involved with the PAL for quite some time as a volunteer, as a coach, as a sponsor. I sponsored numerous teams for baseball, basketball, and football, when my son was playing the flag football that the PAL ran. But our PAL program is deteriorating, and it has been deteriorating for a long time. And I'm wondering why we don't put a little bit more into it. And I don't know what kind of a budget they're running that program on, but that $20,000 may have helped them continue running that program. I don't think it should have been tabled. And I think we need to put, this is not a knock on the police department, but I think we need to put police back into PAL. Some of those children don't have interaction with police officers other than the possibility of having an interaction at the PAL organization on that level. And all of my life that I've lived in Linden, we always had a police officer there. I don't want to hear about saving money. If you're going to tell me that we saved $150,000, I really don't care. That's not well-saved money. That money should be invested in our children. And if it's $150,000 or $200,000, let's get a police officer there and spend that money on them. It bothers me. It was a fantastic, it's always been a fantastic program that the kids look forward to. And it's a place to escape for them, a safe place. We have to think about that. I don't know if maybe we can get together, council, and put some sort of ordinance to get a police officer back into that program. But I really, really believe that it's really a very important thing for the children of the city of Linden. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Principato. Mr. Mack?
Mr. Mayor, President of the Council, may I, before we start, may I ask for legal advice from my authorized to talk on behalf of the people? I need legal advice from the council. Mr. Mayor, President of the Council?
Yeah?
Thank you kindly. My dear fellow citizens of Linden, I appear before you on behalf of the peoples. Not on my behalf, but on behalf of the peoples. You, I need to see you personally, but I need to address you with the peoples. If you have any difference with the mayor, president of the city council, members of council, I respectfully ask you to do what I do. Take them one-on-one, not in here. You have disobeyed the law of the city of Linden. Now you're dealing with the Constitution. I deal with the mayor according to what the law said. And I won't deal with that. On behalf of the people, I want to thank, I just attended a couple of graduations, and I was just so happy. Miss Matango is our city representative, and Miss Matango has some students that graduated and got their, what do you call it, RN? They got their RN. Nurse, they nurses. Praise be to God. And they told me they've been working on it for years. And Miss Tango, that I have loved Miss Tango and always will. And I want to say to Miss Tango, according to the people, we thank you, Miss Tango, for the encouragement you have gave humanity. I have listened to y'all attentively tonight. And I have to bring my representative, Mr. Muhammad. I have to bring him involved because he's the council member of the 4th Ward. And I have to say to you, I'm talking to you, councilman, on behalf of the people, me and you, and I'm telling the people that I said it, if they hear me say it, me and you need to talk. And that's the bottom line. It's not open for discussion other than that.
because we don't do it that way. We are more professional than that. Are we clear on that? Say no more. Mr. Mayor, Mr. Police, Chief of Police, I want to thank you for the community has advised me, Chief, to tell you up and down the community that they are extremely pleased with the notification of your department. We want to thank the mayor that he has gave you the arm power. Watch your language. The arm power to do it. And we are so pleased. The people said they pay attention. I want to say to the candidates on behalf of the people, you that ran, you that lost. The bottom line is, he or she that quits never wins, and a winner never quits. So keep on keeping on. And that's what you're supposed to do. I want to say to, on behalf of the peoples, Mr. President of the City Council, you're a good guy. They told me to tell you, you're a good guy. You're a good guy.
You're not going to tell me you love me, right?
People, I didn't say that. People
Okay.
said it. Because you just asked me. I probably would have said something else. Watch your language. But I need to say to the mayor and to his court administrators, I'm so blessed to be in the city of Linden to speak for the peoples. We have a system that works fair and just for humanity. The judges that we have in the city of Linden, but over the mayor recommendations and the council, we have judges in the city of Linden, whether they be part-time or full-time. They are people with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Watch your language. I said wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Within my conclusion, I thank Linden. I thank the council peoples of Linden that you love me in your own way. And I want to make it crystal clear to y'all. Some of y'all, I love you. It ain't nothing you can do about it. Do I like y'all? Don't even ask me to answer that question. Peter Brown, I heard something tonight that I want that person to go ask you, where is the money at? I said, I told the people, they lending you. I said it. Go ask Peter Brown where the money at, because he's a master at messing with the pen. He's a Wall Street boy. Watch the language. I said boy now. I said it because of a reason, because I'm 67 years old.
Thank you, Mr. Mack. Thank you very much. Felt a lot of love here today. Okay. Mr. Robert Cisco? Oh. I'm sorry.
Robert Scrutro, 416 Helen Street. First off, I want to know what council person or elected official gave Mr. Dan permission to leave tree trunks in front of houses' properties. Anybody?
Don't ask questions, sir. You have 5 minutes to make comments. At the end, I have the council, everybody here has 1 minute, or whoever wants to speak, and they will answer you. But you're here to make your own comments.
Okay, I want to know why Frank Dan is allowed to leave tree trunks in front of houses. That's never been done in the city of Linden before. Secondly, Frank Dan, what CPR training does he give to anybody in the city of Linden at Public Works? Third, last week, time I was here, I gave a letter saying what daily inspections have been done. My upper request shows that he has never done an inspection, and after a citizen has to tell him it needs to be done, he's enforced it. Thirdly, I asked for an overtime sheet on why, about CDL drivers. CDL drivers are not allowed to drive over 16 hours without stopping. They must stop. During snowstorms, they're driving 31 and a half hours without stopping against the CDL regulations. I've been in touch with the Department of Transportation, they're going to start an investigation on Frank Dan and why he's allowing drivers to drive 31 hours being unsafe as a driver. Okay? Last but not least, you had a tree on Clark Street that was cut down by Public Works. Condition, you had a broken sidewalk that's left unmarked. People can trip over. A broken fence is still broke. I believe Mr. Dan has seen you there one day observing your tree crew. You had a worker up in a bucket truck with no hat on, 6 feet from the primary, which is illegal, okay? He can be electrocuted and killed, okay? Why is this? Why are you not obeying the safety rules? No answer?
You will get no answer, sir.
Okay.
You got 5 minutes to speak.
You got to go up in a bucket truck, work with 6 feet of primary, which is illegal, okay? No worker there had a hard hat on, cutting trees. Not one worker out of 8 people there, working 6 feet. He was there for a photo shoot, taking photos of the tree before it was cut down. 20 feet from the tree is a pole that's roped off and broken. You can see through the pole. He doesn't tell his workers not to be on the pole. I have many pictures of the people working on the pole with the man bouncing off the wire that the pole could have came down. But he doesn't tell his people to be careful, not to touch the wire, which he's not supposed to be in 6 feet of. The man's head was near the pole, where the wires, where he could have been killed by one touch in a second. This is a man you hired that says he has all the knowledge. This man could have had these people killed just by working on a pole, working on that tree. I think you people ought to look more into this man, and you need to get more experience and train the people properly on their job. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You can deal with the police chief afterwards, not here. All right, I need a motion to close the public comment.
I'd like to make a motion to close the public comments and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby? Mrs. Cosby?
Yes.
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yamakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Okay, we're going to go into 1 minute for the dais. 1, 3, 5, 6, 10. Mayor. That's it? That's it? All right. All right, Mayor, you got 1 minute. Hold on. You can start, Mayor. We'll cheat.
All right, with regard to parking spaces and new developments, just remind everybody that the first development of Capitaglia didn't come under my watch. It was done by the former mayor who negotiated these particular deals and allowed a developer to come in, and he didn't do his due diligence, and that's why we wound up with a project that didn't have sufficient parking. There's questions regarding the PAL ordinance. By statute, we have to have any organization who receives money from the city must provide us with an audit. The PAL did not provide us with an audit, so it is prohibited by law for us to give money to any organization that doesn't provide an audit. We're hoping that they get that audit to us by next month, and they'll get their money. In regards to bringing the police back in the PAL, at this time, we have decided not to do it for reasons that are not to be discussed publicly, but I can assure you that we have been in discussion with the prosecutor's office with regards to some of the handling and dealings that were there, but we hope to one day in the future return to that policy.
Thank you, sir. That's the way to answer. 1, 2, 3, right to the point. No, I'll tell you when your time is up. But I'll tell you when your time is up. I am, yes, I know, that's why. The people spoke. Mr. Roth. Yes, sir. you supposed to answer something?
If you want me to.
Yes.
Yeah. If they move the election to, from April to November, the only thing that's really saved is the cost of the election, which runs somewhere between $100,000 and $110,000 to run the election. Under the new laws, the new accountability rules, the budget is only voted on by members of the public if it's over 2% in tax increase. Then they would have to go out for a special election to pass that budget.
Thank you, sir. 35 seconds. Councilwoman Norman, you ready?
Yeah, I was going to comment on the same thing. Basically, when you're allowed to have your elections in April, there's a referendum that goes on the ballot, and the city can increase that tax burden on the taxpayers 5%, 6%, 7%, it doesn't matter. They can just go however they want. But as long as you do your election in November, you are bound to a 2% cap. 2%, and as long as you stay under that, you're allowed to do it in November without the residents voting on it, because they know that they're only going to be in for a minimal amount of an increase. If you need some further explanation, we can talk offline.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Question for you. Wasn't it done like that years ago?
When I first was on the Board of Education, yes, I ran in April, and the referendum was on the ballot, and pretty much what happened, the citizens would vote the budget down. They would say, oh, I don't have kids in school. They would literally come out, vote the budget down, and would not even vote for the candidates. There'd be more people that voted for the budget than there would be for the candidates. It was sad because at that point, once that budget is voted down, it would then come before council, who would say, well, you know, you asked for 105 million, the community said no, now I have to shave that off. So the council was then forced to reduce that budget even more at the expense of the teachers and the students, and it was very difficult. So
Thank you. Councilman Brown.
Yes.
Hold on a minute, sir. Here.
Thank you.
Ready? Are you ready?
Yeah. So, John, in regards to PAL, you said that we were taking money off. No, it was tabled because, like the mayor said, it's by law. Actually, not by law. A couple of years ago, we established a policy that the three entities that were getting contributions from the city were going to be separated out of the individual budgets and put in separate line items as per the local finance board, which I contacted. The PAL did not submit an audit by a qualified, or by, not qualified, by a CPA, which knows about GAAP, which is General Accepted Accounting Principles. Instead, it was done by a financial analyst. Those are two different people. Financial analysts will look at the financials of a company and tell you what is liquid and ripe for investment, as opposed to an auditor tells you things dealing with audit reports. And so this report that was sent to us at 2:02 today, I reviewed it here in the dais, so when you saw me walk back and forth, that's why it was tabled. I talked to George here, I talked to the mayor and our attorneys, that's why it was tabled. Not that we don't want to give money to the children, because in this budget, I've stated over and over again, we put $50,000 additional funds into the recreational program. As a result, we have a track and field program for all children, as well as a girls basketball program, and are working on additional programs. So we are investing in our children, but we also believe in transparency, which you would be entitled to that audit report and see there's a financial analyst that wrote it and not a CPA.
Thank you. That's the exact same thing the mayor said. And I have never heard you speak so fast. Ms. Cosby.
Okay, so you're welcome for the policy, because I worked very closely with Mr. Antonelli, the city's attorney, to get that policy in place and make sure that everyone adheres to that. Anybody who gets money from the city should be accountable and show us what they're doing with their money. So I applaud the council for being diligent and making sure that everyone is complying with our policy. Let's work together. That's what we hear today. So let's work together. First, let's stop blocking members of council who have talent and let them get on the committees where they can be effective and move our city forward. employee morale. How about we go back to the unanimously voted on employee confidential tip line? How about we do that and we can increase morale that way? How about we promote the employees from within? We can increase morale that way. So some of the other stuff that I'm talking about here, like I said, let's work together. So let's really do it and not just say it. And there was a resolution 2018-286 that was pulled. We talked about it briefly last night, but then the majority of the council had a powwow, and so the resolution said that last night Councilman Strano and I both volunteered to be on an ad hoc committee which would focus only on the
Thank you.
investigation of a port authority.
Thank you.
And they powwowed it off the agenda.
Okay. Councilman Roman.
Should I go?
Yes,
Should I
please.
start?
Yes. No, I haven't started yet.
All right, Johnny, Infinium is self-storage in a hotel, maybe? Something around those lines? Thank you. LEDC director over there. What else? I went to School 6 the other day, freeholders. I asked the School 6 to apply for a grant that the freeholders give for the students to dig in. They got the grant, they got flower pots, the kids loved it. It's awesome, they're gonna have a lot of fresh produce. I forgot that in my report. Also, I'm this close to getting those stairs fixed. Kind of been tunneling behind the scenes about those stairs, using my skills as a purchasing agent and understanding government administration. And I'm going to present this to council, every single member of council, in an inclusive manner, including the mayor first, this coming week. Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you. And Councilwoman Hickey.
Yes, Mr. Principato, I just wanted to let you know, Resolution 2018-250, Linden Pop Warner Football, we're also waiting for, it doesn't state on here, but I was told by the clerk that it was put in here until we receive their audit reports as well, that we won't be cutting them a check either. PAL 1 was taken off of the agenda. This one happened to stay on because the clerk changed the terms in it. But we're also, just to let you know, we're also awaiting their audit reports. The one thing about audit reports, when you go through professionals, my concern is they're very costly. And these organizations are all about the kids, and I'm hoping that maybe we can find a better way to get their audit reports through some city services, so that money goes towards helmets and bats and other things rather than an expensive audit that I'm sure that our finance department can take care of. And I hope everybody has a good night. Late again. Thank you.
Thank you. The following council meetings will be as follows. Council conference meeting Monday, July 16th at 6 p.m. in the council conference room, City Hall, 301 Northwood Avenue. Council conference meeting prior to the council meeting, Tuesday, July 17th at 6 p.m. in the council conference room, City Hall, 301 Northwood Avenue. Council meeting Tuesday, July 17th, 2018 at 7 p.m. in the council chamber, City Hall, 301 Northwood Avenue. I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Third.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Crosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
C.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
My personal site is still open and welcomes all who love me and my family. I will block me from anyone that wants to have a